Naruto was a boy who carried the burden of being misunderstood and feared by the people of his village. To them, he wasn't just a child, he was a potential disaster waiting to happen. In their eyes, if this disaster occurred, it would unleash a destructive nine-tailed fox that could obliterate their entire home. While there were a few who saw him differently, like those who knew of his lineage or trusted the fourth Hokage, they generally ignored him rather than offering any support. The only ones who truly cared for Naruto were Hiruzen Sarutobi, Jiraiya, and Kakashi Hatake. Kakashi, weighed down by the loss of his teammates and the death of Minato, avoided forming close relationships. He believed anyone he cared for was doomed to perish. Jiraiya, on the other hand, was overwhelmed with sorrow whenever he saw Naruto reminded painfully of his late student Minato. Unable to bear it, he distanced himself. Meanwhile, Hiruzen, preoccupied with the duties of a Hokage, found little time to be there for Naruto. Adding to his troubles, Danzo fueled the villagers' resentment by spreading fear through his rude foundation, labeling Naruto as the vessel of the Nine Tails. At the age of 3, Naruto left the orphanage with the Hokage's intervention. His time there was harsh, he wasn't taught to read, barely received enough food, and faced mistreatment daily. A caretaker was assigned to help him with basic survival skills until he turned 4, after which he was left to fend for himself. January 8, year 1362, Konoha. 12:30 p.m. Sitting alone, Naruto spoke to himself quietly, so, from what I've seen the academy students do, I'm supposed to meditate and find the warmth inside my body. His words reflected his recent discovery. Curious about the ninja way of life, Naruto had been sneaking into the ninja academy, watching from the shadows. He admired the Yondaime Hokage and wanted to follow in his footsteps. The academy's first lesson teaching students about deception stuck with Naruto, as he used it to spy on classes undetected. This particular day, Naruto had learned about chakra and how students unlocked it. Clan children often activated their chakra by age 4, thanks to their family's guidance, while civilian children typically unlocked it at the academy around age 6. Inspired, Naruto decided to try it himself. After nearly half an hour of concentration, Naruto felt a faint warmth in his stomach. He focused on it, pulling at the sensation. Suddenly, his surroundings shifted. When he opened his eyes, he found himself in a dimly lit space. Exploring this strange place, Naruto eventually came across massive metal bars, separating him from something. The atmosphere felt ominous, and a dim yellow light barely illuminated the area. Then, a massive red eye with a slit pupil opened behind the bars. "Hello, jailer," came a deep, resonant voice. Naruto furrowed his brow. "You must be the Nine Tails, right?" The beast let out a low chuckle. "Ha ha ha. Clever brat, aren't you?" Naruto observed the creature, unfazed. "I thought so. No wonder people avoid me, they think I'm you." "Those fools," the Nine Tails sneered. "They'll believe whatever suits their fears." Naruto tilted his head, his curiosity growing. "You're not just some mindless monster, are you? Tell me, why did you attack the village?" The fox paused, its crimson eyes narrowing. It recognized the boy's intelligence but also his youth, which made him impressionable. Choosing its words carefully, the fox replied, "I was under someone's control, a Shari non-user. They forced me to attack. Do you think I would willingly waste decades in this wretched place?" Naruto's eyes softened. Despite the fox's towering presence, he could sense its frustration and pain. "So, you were misunderstood, just like me," he muttered. The Nine Tails raised an eyebrow, intrigued by the boy's empathy. "Humph. And what do you intend to do with that realization, brat?" "Be your friend," Naruto said simply. The fox blinked, momentarily stunned. "What nonsense is this? Why would I want to befriend a puny human child?" "Because we're both judged unfairly," Naruto replied with quiet determination. "People think you're just a weapon of destruction, and they think I'm you. But I can see you're more than that." For the first time in centuries, the fox found itself at a loss for words. The boy's perspective, shaped by his own loneliness, resonated in a way no one else's ever had. "Very well," the Nine Tails finally said, a small grin tugging at its lips. Naruto grinned back. "What's your name?" The fox hesitated, then responded, "Kurama." "I'm Naruto," the boy declared with enthusiasm. The two exchanged a brief but meaningful smile. Naruto's curiosity soon returned to his original goal. I was trying to unlock my chakra earlier. Do you know how I can do that? He asked. Kurama chuckled. You've already done it, Brett. Just entering this place means your chakra has been activated. Naruto's eyes lit up with excitement. Really? That's awesome. One last question, how do I leave here? You can will yourself out, or I can throw you out, Kurama replied, smirking. With newfound determination, Naruto grinned. Thanks, Kurama. Naruto stirred awake in the clearing, the time spent there feeling like a fleeting moment. Hey, kid. A booming voice echoed in his mind. Naruto jolted upright, startled. Relax. I can talk to you through your mind now, the voice explained, a hint of amusement in its tone. Just think what you want to say, and I'll hear it. You could have warned me earlier. Naruto thought, irritation evident. But where's the fun in that? The voice replied with a chuckle. Naruto realized it was the fox sealed inside him. Can you teach me something useful? He asked, his curiosity piqued. After all, this entity had existed for centuries and likely held vast knowledge. Of course. We'll start with chakra control, the fox said, its tone turning serious. You're overflowing with chakra, but your control is abysmal. First, we'll focus on exercises that align with your immense reserves, and as you improve, we'll move to more refined techniques, it explained. What's the first exercise? Naruto inquired eagerly. Not today. You've just unlocked your chakra, so you need rest. I'll plan out your training regimen, the fox replied. Naruto nodded, accepting the plan. January 9th, 8:30 a.m. The fox began instructing Naruto on a strict regimen. You'll manage your stipends wisely, saving most of them for later. For food, you'll forage and hunt. Beyond training ground 25 lies a forest abundant with fruits, vegetables, and small game like rabbits. Occasionally, you can buy eggs and milk to supplement your diet. This way, you'll grow stronger naturally. Naruto yawned, feigning disinterest. Wake up, you little runt. The fox barked in his mind. Okay. I'll do it. Naruto thought hurriedly, placating the fox. Good. Now, let's discuss your physical training. Start with stretches, 5 laps around the training ground, 2 sets of 30 sit UPS, 10 push UPS. The fox continued, listing an exhaustive workout plan. Naruto groaned internally. Do I really have to do all that? You'll repeat it 3 more times, so get moving, the fox ordered, its tone leaving no room for argument. Naruto reluctantly obeyed, spending hours completing the exercises before venturing into the forest to gather food. With the fox's guidance, he identified edible plants and even managed to catch fish. This routine became Naruto's new normal. Over time, he grew close to the Ichirakus and spent more time with the Hokage, who provided him with books on ninja fundamentals. The fox helped Naruto understand complex theories, pushing him to improve steadily. Konoha, Training Ground 25, February 13th, 8:20 a.m. You're strong enough now, the fox said. It's time for a new chakra control exercise. How hard is it? Naruto asked, intrigued. It's challenging. You'll climb trees using only your feet and chakra. This technique requires precise chakra application, too much or too little, and you'll slip, the fox explained. Naruto grinned. Let's do it. Don't rush, kid. Start slow and focus, the fox advised. Naruto eagerly began training, but his progress was slow due to his immense chakra reserves. He persevered for days, and by the end of the week, he finally reached the top of a tree. February 22nd. Yes. I did it. Naruto cheered, standing triumphantly on a branch. Calm down, kid. You're not done yet, the fox said. You'll keep practicing until I say you are ready for the next step. For now, return to your physical training. Your Uzumaki lineage and my influence give you unique advantages, like rapid healing. This lets you train harder and recover faster, making you a formidable taijutsu fighter. Naruto's eyes widened. That's incredible. Exactly. You're destined for greatness, so don't squander this opportunity, the fox replied. With renewed determination, Naruto committed himself to the rigorous training, eager to unlock his full potential. March 7, 2:23 p.m. Ugh, walking on water is harder than I thought. Naruto grumbled, frustrated with how soaked he and his clothes had gotten. Why didn't you warn me I'd end up falling into the water like that? Naruto mentally shouted at Kurama. Why would I need to state the obvious, brat? Did you forget how many times you fell during tree climbing practice? Kurama replied smugly. Naruto's silence spoke volumes. Why didn't I think of that? Because you're not exactly the sharpest kunao in the pouch, Kurama teased. Ugh, I need to figure out how to keep you from chiming in on every thought I have, Naruto retorted. You wish, Kurama shot back, clearly enjoying himself. Naruto spent the rest of the day training, determined to master water walking. To Kurama's surprise, Naruto succeeded by the end of the day. This kid, how did he manage this exercise in just one day? It took him over a week just to climb a tree, but now he's walking on water like it's nothing. His chakra control is improving faster than I expected, Kurama thought, both impressed and intrigued. Guess I can push his training even further now, Kurama mused with a sly grin. From then on, Naruto's training intensified. He began practicing more advanced techniques, like balancing a kunao on a fingertip using chakra and channeling chakra through all his tenketsu to enhance control and reserves. Most of his training was done on water, ensuring his chakra control continued to improve. October 10th, Naruto's apartment. It's 7:30 a.m., Naruto thought as he stretched. Happy birthday, brat. Kurama greeted. Thanks, Kurama. Naruto replied with a smile. A knock at the door interrupted his thoughts. Recognizing the chakra signature, he quickly opened the door to find the third Hokage standing there with a warm smile. Haha, happy birthday, Naruto. How are you this morning? The third Hokage asked. Thanks, Grandpa. I'm doing great. How about you? Naruto replied. I'm well, my boy. Since it's your birthday, is there anything you'd like me to get for you? Hiruzen asked. Naruto's face lit up. I want to go to Ichiraku for lunch. Haha, that was already part of the plan. Anything else? Naruto thought for a moment. Oh. I want a katana to practice with and a book to learn how to use it. Hiruzen chuckled. You're still a bit young for a real katana. I'll get you a buken instead. Once I feel you're ready, we can talk about a real one. Naruto pouted for a moment but quickly perked up. Thank you, Grandpa. Meet me at my office at noon, and we'll head to Ichiraku after, Hiruzen said before leaving. Later that day, Naruto visited a shop where he bought gravity seals along with his buken. The shopkeeper treated him kindly, a refreshing change from how most villagers acted toward him. November 23, Training Ground 44. Naruto sprinted through the dense forest, his breath ragged and his body drenched in sweat. I'm exhausted, but if I stop now, I'm done for. He thought, panic surging through him. A massive tiger leapt in front of him, blocking his path. Another one closed in from behind. This is bad, Naruto thought grimly. The tiger ahead lunged at him, forcing Naruto to leap away while throwing his last kunao. Great, I'm out of weapons. I told you to bring extras, idiot. Kurama scolded. Now's not the time for this. Naruto snapped back mentally. The second tiger charged. Naruto braced himself instinctively, clasping his hands and channeling chakra. To his shock, a massive tree erupted from the ground, ensnaring both tigers in its thick branches. Panting heavily, Naruto stared at the scene in disbelief. That was close, he muttered. Kurama? Brat. Do you even realize what you just did? Kurama roared. Made a tree grow? Naruto asked hesitantly, glancing at the towering structure. That wasn't just any tree. That was Wood Release, the legendary Kekkei Genkai of Hashirama Senju. It's the same power that once subdued me and my siblings with ease. This is huge, Naruto thought, still trying to process the magnitude of what had just happened. Your training is done for today. Head back to Training Ground 25, Kurama instructed. Naruto swiftly left the Forest of Death, making his way to the designated area. What I'm about to reveal is for your ears only. You must not share this with anyone, understood? Kurama said firmly. What is it about? Naruto asked, curiosity piqued. You were chosen to be my host not only because you are an Uzumaki but because the fourth Hokage, too noble to sacrifice another's child, made the decision himself, Kurama explained. A moment of silence followed, heavy with unspoken thoughts. Wait, the fourth Hokage, is he my father? Naruto asked, a glimmer of hope in his voice. Yes, Naruto. His final wish was for you to be seen as a hero. But the council's meddling exposed your status early, twisting the villagers' perception of you. To protect you, the Hokage enacted a decree preventing the younger generation from learning the truth, hoping you'd have a chance at friendship, Kurama clarified. Then I'll prove them wrong. I'll surpass my father and become a Hokage even greater than him. Naruto declared, his resolve solidifying. Kurama let out a small chuckle, impressed by Naruto's determination. Since you possess the wood-style ability, it's likely you share a connection with the Senju clan. Tomorrow at dawn, I'll wake you, and you'll explore their abandoned district. Their library might hold knowledge you can use. Thanks, Kurama, Naruto said with a rare, genuine smile. November 24th, 4:20 a.m. Naruto stood before the gates of the Senju district, the air heavy with anticipation. To access the compound, you will need to offer a bit of blood and chakra. These conditions have kept intruders out for years, Kurama informed him. Naruto did as instructed, carefully following Kurama's guidance. The gates creaked slightly as they opened, revealing the untouched remains of the once grand district. This place is incredible, Naruto murmured, taking in the sight of the buildings, still preserved by intricate seals. He quickly located the library and stepped inside. Focus on finding scrolls about chakra control, wood-style techniques, and any other jutsus that might help you. Use the blank scrolls to copy them down, Kurama advised. Naruto began his search, methodically copying everything he deemed useful. Among the treasures he found were advanced theories on sealing techniques, chakra nature manipulation, and the legendary shadow clone technique. This clone technique is fascinating. It sends back memories and experiences, making training so much faster, Naruto muttered, his mind racing with possibilities. By 9 a.m., Naruto had slipped out of the district unnoticed, his new knowledge safely stored in scrolls. Training Ground 25. Naruto stood with 5 shadow clones before him, sweat already forming on his brow. Thanks to the chakra control I've drilled into you, you can now handle jutsus that would normally be beyond your capacity, Kurama said with pride. Yeah, and this clone jutsu is ridiculously efficient for training, Naruto thought. He sent his clones to focus on water and earth chakra manipulation while he began his physical exercises atop the training grounds lake, his determination as solid as ever. Uchiha clan compound, 3:30 p.m. A young Itachi Uchiha entered the compound, his newly acquired Chunin vest gleaming in the afternoon sun. At just 10 years old, Itachi was celebrated as a prodigy unmatched since the days of Madara Uchiha. Why can't I join the academy yet? I've already mastered the great fireball jutsu. Satsuki Uchiha, his younger sister, whined, her arms crossed in frustration. This is not the right time for you to join, sweetie. You're only 5 years old, you'll have to wait until you are 7 like the others, Mikoto said gently. Satsuki huffed, crossing her arms. Don't be upset. How about we go to the market and grab some tomatoes? I'm planning to make a tomato salad and some rice balls for dinner, Mikoto suggested, instantly lifting Satsuki's mood. Really? Let's go. Satsuki cheered with excitement. 4 p.m., Training Ground 25. Boss. Look at this. Naruto's clones held up leaves that were swollen with water, looking almost like small rocks. Good job. Now try doing it without any hand signs, Naruto instructed them. Kurama observed the progress silently, his expression one of quiet amazement. This kid's something else. Normally, this step takes at least a week to master, but he's nailed it in a single day. He's a natural. Dispel them and create a new set of clones, Kurama suggested telepathically. It'll speed up the learning process. Naruto followed the instructions, and a rush of memories from his clones hit him all at once. He staggered, nearly losing his balance near the edge of the water. Huh. I told you to dispel them one by one. Kurama laughed. You didn't tell me that before. Naruto shot back in frustration. Returning to solid ground, Naruto resumed the exercise. With intense focus, he managed to manipulate one leaf to swell with water and another to harden into a brittle, stone-like texture. Creating 6 shadow clones, he tasked them to repeat the exercise but without using any hand signs this time. Progress was slower, but the clones managed to make some headway due to Naruto's strong affinity with the 2 chakra elements involved. Kid, you might have other chakra natures as well. You should pick up some chakra paper to test them out. Just tell the shopkeeper you're curious, Kurama advised. Leaving his clones to their tasks, Naruto headed into town. The Hokage's office. Lord Hokage, tensions within the Uchiha clan are growing. While some have rallied behind the idea of a coup, the majority, including my father and the elders, are against it. However, the village's distrust is only fueling the conflict, Itaki reported, kneeling before the third Hokage. This is troubling news. Keep me informed of any further developments, Hiruzen instructed, his tone heavy with concern. Understood, Lord Hokage, Itaki and Shisui replied in unison. Higarashi's forge. Why are we here, Mom? Satsuki asked, clearly disappointed that they weren't at the market picking out tomatoes. Well, you wanted to start your training, didn't you? This is where you can find what you'll need to begin, Mikoto said with a smile. Really? Satsuki squealed with joy. You can look around, but be careful. Don't touch anything sharp, Mikoto warned. Satsuki began exploring the shop, her eyes wide with wonder. Suddenly, she bumped into someone. Hey, watch where you're going, she exclaimed, slightly irritated. You're the one running around the shop. Shouldn't you be more careful? A calm voice replied. Realizing she was in the wrong but unwilling to admit it, Satsuki retorted, well, maybe you should have been watching where you were going to. Fine, we're both at fault, the boy replied with a sigh. It was a tired-looking Naruto, who had rushed through the market to gather groceries before stopping at the forge for his original errand. Fine, Satsuki huffed, crossing her arms. Is every girl this stubborn? Naruto wondered. Most are feisty like that. Your mother was infamous for her temper. She once clobbered your godfather for peeping at the hot springs, Kurama teased, chuckling. Satsuki, where did you wander off to? Mikoto called out, spotting her daughter. Oh, hey, Mom. I was just looking around, Satsuki replied with a grin. Naruto stood quietly nearby, watching the interaction. His eyes lingered on Mikoto, and a pang of sadness struck him. It must be nice to have a mom like that, he thought. Mikoto turned to Naruto, and her breath caught for a moment. The boy looked so much like Minato Namikaze that it was almost uncanny. Her expression softened, her eyes filled with pity and sadness. Sensing her gaze, Naruto stiffened slightly but tried not to show it. Her look unsettled him, but he quickly brushed it off and left. Kid, she knows about your parents. After all, she's your godmother. She probably feels guilty for not being able to take you in. Kurama remarked in Naruto's mind. Naruto understood why Mikoto had looked at him with such a mixture of sadness and sympathy. He didn't like being pitied, so he instinctively became a bit guarded. Satsuki noticed her mother's recognition of Naruto, and she continued watching him with curiosity. Satsuki, is he your friend? Mikoto asked with a soft smile. No, we just bumped into each other earlier. We both got distracted by all the items in the shop, Satsuki admitted a little sheepishly. Naruto merely nodded to confirm Satsuki's story. Mikoto's gaze drifted to what Naruto was holding, a piece of chakra paper, used to determine one's chakra affinity. Why would someone so young want to test his affinity? Mikoto thought, her frown deepening. Realizing she was eyeing the chakra paper, Naruto quickly slipped it into his pocket, gave a polite bow, and headed to the counter to pay for it. Chakra paper at your age? What for? The shopkeeper asked, raising an eyebrow. I just wanted to check my affinity, just curiosity, Naruto responded, doing his best not to seem suspicious. The shopkeeper nodded and handed over the paper, which cost 200 ryo. It was expensive due to its rarity and the effort it took to produce. Kid, don't forget you're going to have to learn Fuinjutsu theory if you want to master your great-grandfather's and father's flying Raijin technique. It's not just about skill, it's the theory behind it that's important, Kurama reminded him. Right, I'll have some clones study it, Naruto thought back. You can't overdo it with clones for studying. The brain can only absorb so much information at once, and overloading it is dangerous. It could lead to cognitive strain and even cause damage. Limit it to 2 clones for studying, Kurama advised firmly. Naruto made his way to his training area, thinking over Kurama's words. Naruto, it's time for an upgrade in your training space. This spot might be secluded, but it's a known path for ninja traffic. It could be under surveillance, Kurama warned. So where should I go to train? Naruto asked. I suggest you check the Senju district. There might be some hidden training grounds from when they fought the Uchiha during the Warring Clans era. They were often near what is now Konoha, Kurama suggested. All right, I'll go take a look, Naruto decided. Quickly making his way to the Senju district, Naruto stayed cautious, aware that he was in public during daylight. Oh. I almost forgot to check my affinities. Naruto thought, a mix of excitement and nervousness building inside him. He focused chakra into the paper, and it split in 2. One side soaked with water and crackled with lightning, while the other turned to dust. You have 2 minor affinities, both strong but still weaker than your incredible affinity for earth and water. The speed of your reactions to those elements is extraordinary. Kurama commented, sounding both impressed and excited. So, should I start training with all these elements? Naruto asked. No, not for now. You should focus on mastering wood release first. Once you've gained more control over that, then you can consider working on your other affinities, Kurama advised. December 12th. The Hokage Tower. What would be the best gift for Naruto? Considering his skill in Kenjutsu, I think he deserves a proper sword. After all, he is an Uzumaki, and the blade runs in his blood. Hiruzen mused, pride evident on his face. However, I shouldn't get him something too advanced. If he proves he can handle it, I'll get him a katana made from chakra and fused metal, tailored for his needs, Hiruzen thought further. Ugh. So much paperwork already. I was just thinking about what to get everyone for the Rhine festival, and now my entire desk is piled up. Hiruzen thought in frustration. Senju training ground. This was a secret training ground once used by Hashirama and his brothers, under the guidance of their father. Hidden behind a massive waterfall created by Butsuma Senju's father, the area was protected by numerous seals to ensure only those with permission could access it. Now, try using the water bullet jutsu without relying on any seals. This will help improve your water control, Kurama commanded. This method was an unofficial but effective way to speed up mastery of natural chakra releases. It allowed the user to mold a specific elemental chakra more quickly and efficiently. Naruto panted with exertion, focusing all his energy on perfecting the control of the technique. While he had an abundant chakra reserve, learning to use it efficiently was what would truly make him formidable. Send me some chakra, Naruto huffed. Kurama sent a small amount of chakra to Naruto, mindful of the fact that the young boy's body could only handle a limited transfer at his age. This small boost allowed Naruto to keep going without overstraining himself. It was the reason he was able to stand on water while practicing for so long. From here on, you will begin training in lightning release. You may not have fully mastered your primary elemental releases, but lightning release will complement your sword skills and enhance your proficiency with the sword of the Thunder God. You're young, there's no need to rush mastery of everything. You have plenty of time ahead of you, Kurama explained. Naruto felt more energized as Kurama's purified chakra flowed into him. He quickly created 2 shadow clones to practice lightning release. I need to get a real katana to train properly with a sword. I can't keep using these Kima blades, they're too large and unwieldy for me. Do you think I can afford one? Naruto asked. You can, but did you forget that the 3rd Hokage will buy you a real katana once you prove your skill with the Buken? Kurama reminded him. Oh yeah. I completely forgot about that. I should ask him when I get the chance, Naruto realized. Nearby, several clones of Naruto were busy with different tasks. One was reading a Fuinjutsu book, another was climbing a tree, a third was practicing the 2nd stage of water manipulation by shaping large quantities of water into structures, another was working on stone manipulation, transforming loose soil into hardened mud, and one more was perfecting the Senju stance, a basic form taught to young Senju clan members to improve their combat readiness. Naruto himself was sprinting at top speed, his seals on full display. He could maintain his maximum pace for about 20 minutes without a break, a feat most Chunin would struggle with. The average Chunin could only run at their top speed for about 4 minutes, and only a few had the stamina to sustain such speeds. Naruto was already as fast as some of the best genin in the village. The Hokage Tower. We saw what Kumo did 2 years ago. To this day, many of our clients believe we backed down, and that we're no longer the dominant village. We need to prove we're still the strongest. Danzo declared. What do you suggest? Should we start another war? Hiruzen shot back sarcastically. We can't afford another war, Danzo. We don't have enough ninjas. There's only so much our elite forces can do. We don't have another Yellow Flash, and we've lost 2 of our Sunin, one of whom is a traitor. We're surrounded by enemies, and one small conflict could spark the next war. Hiruzen said firmly. Danzo merely scoffed. So what are you suggesting? We just wait. Danzo mocked, making the word seem pointless. We should expand our ranks by lowering the standards for the academy, bringing in more of the younger generation. That way, we ensure the most capable children become ninjas. We won't hinder the truly talented ones, as they'll receive specialized training to enhance their skills, Hiruzen proposed, trying to find a viable solution. He knew this could lead to a higher casualty rate among ninjas, but it was better than pushing the village into an all-out war. This specialized training would be reserved for the top 5% of students at the academy. The Senju training ground. That's enough training for today, Naruto thought. It's already evening, Kurama remarked. I have something else to train you in, Kurama added, sparking Naruto's curiosity. What is it? Naruto asked. I will teach you how to use your chakra to create an aura of fear in others. This is known as killing intent, Kurama explained. How do I train in that? Naruto asked, intrigued. First, you need to experience it to understand the sensation. If I continuously flood you with my killing intent, you'll grow resistant to it. This will prevent you from hesitating when the time comes to act. It'll also stop any genjutsu from exploiting your weak points. I can only assist you so much with the seal still restricting much of my power, but you'll have to build your own resistance to genjutsu, Kurama said. Naruto entered his mind, bracing himself for the intense pressure Kurama was about to unleash. Are you prepared, Brett? Kurama asked. Naruto answered firmly. Kurama released some of his chakra onto Naruto. Naruto's eyes widened, his pupils constricted, his complexion drained, and he dropped to one knee. What you're experiencing is just a fraction of my chakra. Only your parents, Hashirama, Madara, and Mido could handle my full pressure, Kurama said, withdrawing his killing intent. Naruto exhaled, relieved. He felt like he might lose his composure in his mind. Go back and practice with your shadow clone. By the end of this month, you'll be able to instill fear in any Chunin, Kurama instructed. Naruto returned to the physical world and tried it out. Training continued as usual. Naruto was making great progress but still had a long way to go. Now 7 years old, he was about to start at the academy. The academy's standards have dropped significantly, Kurama noted. Well, we're not at war, like my parents were during their time, Naruto replied. Kurama scoffed. The entrance test evaluates both physical and mental abilities. Flashback. Are you ready for the academy? Hiruzen asked warmly. Yup. Naruto replied enthusiastically. So, what's your plan for the academy? Hiruzen inquired, noting Naruto's excitement. I'll pretend to be the worst student. I don't want others to know what I'm truly capable of, Naruto answered with a grin. Why's that? Don't you want others to recognize your abilities? Hiruzen asked, confused. I don't want to make myself a target just yet. I'll reveal my skills once I'm a ninja. Being deceptive is a ninja's first lesson, after all, Naruto explained, surprising Hiruzen with his maturity. Alright then, just make sure you don't fail anything. At least the bare minimum, Hiruzen said, pleased. Fine, Gramps. Let's go get some ramen. Naruto cheered, excited that Hiruzen supported his choice. End flashback. Brat, I sense something is off in the village. The Uchiha clan has been acting strangely, and the village is isolating them more and more. It might be related to the rumor about me being controlled by an Uchiha, Kurama remarked, concern in his voice. What should I do about it? Naruto asked. You're skilled enough now. I can gather nature chakra for you, making it combat ready. You can use Sage Mode like Hashirama did to hide your chakra presence. Combine it with the chameleon jutsu, and you'll be able to spy undetected. The only ones who can detect you are those with advanced visual abilities, like the highest Sharingan, but that's not something many people in the village will have. You'll be safe while spying, Kurama said, explaining the plan. Alright, but who should I spy on? Sasuke? He's my age, so he probably has nothing to do with whatever is happening, Naruto replied, hesitant. From what you've seen and heard, the Uchiha prodigy has recently joined the Black Ops. Maybe tailing him around the clan could give you some answers. Kurama suggested. Fine, I'll try following him around, Naruto agreed, though he wasn't thrilled about spying on his future classmate before even starting the academy. Naruto made his way to the Uchiha district, ready to begin his surveillance. His targets were the Uchiha elders, Shisui, Itachi, and Fugaku. That chakra. That one has the main Jikyo Sharingan. Kurama exclaimed, a mix of surprise and anger in his voice. That's Fugaku Uchiha, the clan leader. He's strong, too, Naruto observed. You should follow him where there are others. That way, he won't be able to use his main Jikyo Sharingan freely. But this isn't the right time to confront him. Wait until the two Uchihas are together. They might be working as double agents, or at least spying on the village. I doubt the old Hokage has noticed anything suspicious about the Uchiha clan. This might support my theory that one of the is a double agent, Kurama said thoughtfully. Do you think the two will show up soon? Naruto asked. They're both part of the and given the current situation, they likely won't be gone for more than a week. I'd say we'll know by then, Kurama replied. Naruto let out a sigh. Ah. Big brother. Satsuki pouted as Itachi gently poked her forehead. Looks like you're in luck, kid. Itachi's here, Kurama said. Naruto quickly put on a mask he had crafted with simple seals to keep his identity hidden from enemies and targets. He activated his chameleon jutsu and took cover. This technique, originally developed by Tobirama to counter the Uchiha clan, was further refined by Jiraiya, who had received it from Hiruzen. With Kurama supplying Naruto with nature chakra to keep his presence undetected, Naruto spent the entire day observing Itachi. Itachi was going about his normal routine, buying groceries for his mother, spending time with Izumi Uchiha, and training at the Uchiha clan's facilities. Then, a crow arrived with a message for Itachi. After reading it, Itachi's expression grew serious, and he headed toward the Nakano River. Naruto followed closely, doing his best to keep up. When Itachi reached a small cliff, he found Shisui, who was bloodied and missing one of his eyes. Naruto's eyes widened in shock, but he stayed silent. Danzo ambushed me. He said my plan to prevent the Uchiha coup wouldn't work, and that only his method would succeed. The Hokage doesn't have much sway with the elders now, Shisui said weakly but with a faint smile. Itachi, your right eye. Itachi exclaimed in concern. I know. Danzo took it. You're the only one who can save our clan and the village now. You must awaken your main Jikyo Sharingan, Shisui said, trying to smile through the pain. Itachi's eyes widened in distress. Take my left eye, Itachi. It's superior to the one Danzo took from me. You're the only one who can protect the village, Shisui said, placing his left eye into a crow summoned by his Sharingan. He then urged Itachi to push him off the cliff. Shisui! Itachi cried out, watching in horror as Shisui fell. Itachi's eyes slowly transformed into the main Jikyo Sharingan. That's the main Jikyo now, Kurama noted. Now we know what's happening between the Uchiha and the village. This is troubling. Looks like the old man knows as well, Naruto thought. You need to be careful with the Uchihas. They might try to manipulate you into using me. If the clan leader has the main Jikyo, they might push him to use me as a weapon, Kurama warned, his tone serious. Itachi deactivated his main Jikyo Sharingan, and Naruto, realizing that Itachi might have spotted him, decided it was time to leave. He made his escape as quickly as possible. Naruto felt mentally drained after keeping the chameleon jutsu active for half the day, a technique that consumed a lot of chakra and concentration. Looks like the Uchiha clan will likely face destruction. I hope Itachi spares the innocent, Naruto mused. Kurama scoffed. He didn't care for the Uchiha clan. Tomorrow we'll work on mastering Sage Mode while moving. Hashirama's power came from his ability to gather sage chakra without needing summons and while on the move. Without me helping, you'll struggle with the basics, Kurama said, changing the subject. Understood, Naruto replied. April 20th. Oh no, I'm late for the academy. Only 10 minutes left. Naruto shouted, running from the Senju training grounds in a full sprint. He sped through the village, careful not to raise suspicion, and barely made it in time. I made it. Naruto thought, feeling relieved. Good morning, everyone. Today marks the beginning of the academy year for all aspiring young ninjas, Hiruzen said warmly, drawing smiles from the new students. Naruto, wanting to keep a low profile, stayed in a secluded area, away from the crowd. Do I really have to do this? Naruto asked Kurama. Yes, if you want to keep up your training. Kurama insisted. Fine. Naruto grumbled. Once Hiruzen finished his speech, the academy instructors began calling out the names of the students they would be teaching. Naruto Uzumaki. Iruka Umino called. Looks like you are in the class with all the clan heirs. That's quite the good placement, Kurama observed. Yes, it makes sense. I'm technically a clan heir too, even though both my clans are long gone, Naruto thought with a touch of sadness. Naruto followed Iruka to his assigned class. He scanned the room, noticing that most of his classmates were unremarkable, though it was clear they all knew one another. The only exceptions were himself and Satsuki. Koji Akimichi and Shikamaru Nara were inseparable, as were Ino Yamanaka and Sakura Harino. Hinata Hyuga, the heir of the Hyuga clan, kept to herself, walking quietly behind Iruka with her gaze down. Satsuki responded politely but briefly to anyone who spoke to her, while Kiba Inezuka was loudly bragging about his abilities, gaining attention from those who were familiar with his prowess. The rest of the students seemed to lack any notable skills or important backgrounds. So, that boy is in my class. No matter, I'll keep a professional attitude toward him since he is my student, Iruka thought, his thoughts turning to Naruto. The class began, with each student introducing themselves and sharing their ambitions. Naruto, enthusiastic as ever, loudly declared his desire to become Hokage, which prompted laughter from the entire class. 5 p.m. Finally. They're letting us go. Naruto thought, feeling relief. Nothing particularly exciting happened during the day. Iruka demonstrated some basic ninjutsu and taijutsu, but after that, he allowed the class to do their own thing. Naruto found himself sitting next to Koji, who was eating, and Shikamaru, who had fallen asleep. Iruka took this time to observe the class, noting the presence of several clan heirs. He felt a bit of pressure, wanting to push his students to become the best ninjas they could be. Naruto, however, was bored out of his mind. He had little interest in Iruka's demonstrations, choosing instead to eavesdrop on the conversations around him. He overheard a few of the other students speaking about him. My mom told me not to associate with him. Look at that idiot. My dad says I shouldn't talk to him unless absolutely necessary, they say his stupidity could rub off. Naruto scowled but kept his emotions hidden. A few of the boys tried to talk to Satsuki, eager to get close to her because of her Uchiha heritage. However, she remained aloof, either politely responding or ignoring them altogether. Iruka occasionally jotted down notes, being careful to do so discreetly. Naruto and Shikamaru were the only ones who noticed this. Afterwards, Iruka and his assistant Mizuki outlined what the students could expect from the academy and their daily routines. This took some time, as many of the students came from civilian families and had many questions. Naruto knew that some of the students would likely leave the academy soon. Either their parents wouldn't allow them to continue or they'd be too scared to become ninjas. Naruto glanced over at the parents picking up their children, overhearing a few of their conversations. Why would they let someone like him near our kids? One woman said. Mikoto Uchiha frowned at this remark. Naruto sprinted away, sensing that the area was clear. He dashed toward his training ground, not wasting a second. I know you would be disappointed in me for not taking care of your son, Kushina, Mikoto thought, watching Naruto's retreating figure. Satsuki noticed her mother looking at Naruto with a set expression, while the others seemed to watch him with distrust and disdain. Senju training grounds. Now it's time to start learning Mokuton, Kurama said. You've trained your affinities to a suitable level for this. Naruto nodded. He opened one of the scrolls, which explained a basic method for training Mokuton manipulation. The technique required using chakra to grow a tree from a very old or almost lifeless seed. It was challenging because without Mokuton chakra, the seed would either explode, dry out, or react in some other detrimental way. He created 6 clones to help him with the exercise. We'll have to keep a close eye on Atake Uchiha, Kurama continued. We need to track him and understand what's going on. There's a Mokuton jutsu called Transmission Wood that can help you keep tabs on him. You should learn it once you finish this training. Understood, Kurama, Naruto responded. He focused on his training. At the moment, Naruto could only use Sage Mode for around 20 seconds, and only with Kurama's assistance. It wasn't useful for combat yet, so his training in Sage Mode would be put on hold for a few years to allow his chakra reserves to grow large enough to handle longer durations. Grr. Why is this so difficult? Naruto yelled in frustration. Naruto had been practicing this task ever since he returned from the academy. Now, it was around 9 p.m. He had managed to create a tiny sprout in that time, thanks to the help of his clones. Looks like we've found something you're struggling with. Kurama chuckled. Don't worry, kid. Hashirama got as good as he was with Mokuton due to his Sage Mode. If you keep working on this, you could amplify its power tenfold without losing control while in Sage Mode, Kurama advised. All right. Naruto responded grumpily. Don't start getting moody with me, or I'll make your training 10 times tougher. Kurama warned. When did I get moody? Naruto replied with a nervous laugh. Kurama scoffed at Naruto's antics. July 4th. Sucks to be the older students, they still have school on Saturday. Naruto thought, grinning. He was relieved that he didn't have class on Saturday. I'm finally done with that tedious Mokuton exercise. Naruto thought with a sense of relief. It had taken over a month of hard work, with 6 clones constantly training day and night, but he had finally managed to grow a full tree using nothing but chakra. It required intense concentration, but it was a milestone. He still needed to practice more to be able to perform it with ease and use less chakra. Now it's time for you to start learning that jutsu. We need to keep an eye on the Uchihas, Kurama said. The seals are boar and snake. I need to mold my chakra in a specific way to influence the seed, Naruto muttered to himself. Depending on the chakra used, I can adjust the range and how long the seed lasts, Naruto reflected. Perfecting my control over this will extend the duration of the jutsu considerably, Naruto said. Looks like you've figured it out. More training ahead. Kurama said with glee. Aw, man. Naruto groaned. He trained all day on the jutsu. Once he headed down, he sent a clone to keep an eye on Atake, ensuring the tracking seed was planted at the right moment. It was a challenge, as Atake was a light sleeper, but the clone managed to succeed. July 5th. Wood style. Wooden pillar jutsu. Naruto shouted, making several pillars sprout from the ground. Ah, that was easy. Naruto cheered. It's easy because it's a seer-ranked jutsu, Kurama replied flatly. Naruto rolled his eyes. So, what was that Uchiha brat up to? Kurama asked. He couldn't access the memories of Naruto's clones, so he had to rely on Naruto's account. He was practicing his main Jikyo Sharingan's Tsukiyomi ability, Naruto responded. That's the genjutsu that lets the user trap someone in their mindscape to torture them or extract information. 1 second in the outside world could equal 3 days in the jutsu. It takes a lot of toll on the user, but there's a next level. This stage allows the user to mitigate the side effects, decrease chakra consumption, and even increase their chakra reserves. To reach this level, though, they must obtain the main Jikyo Sharingan of a direct family member, like a sibling, parent, or child. Only one person, Madara Uchiha, has achieved this, Kurama explained. That's dark, Naruto murmured, feeling a bit disturbed by how one of the founding Uchiha went so far as to take his own family's eyes for power. Since we're talking about this, you should start learning high-level genjutsu. It'll help you understand the mechanics of genjutsu, making it easier to counter it, especially against powerful techniques like Tsukiyomi. This could help you against the Uchiha who were responsible for your parents' deaths, Kurama added. Naruto's fists clenched upon hearing that. But where do I start? Naruto asked, trying to focus on something else. From what I remember in the Senju library, the Bringer of Darkness Jutsu would be a good option. It's a high-level jutsu designed by Tobirama Senju specifically to counter the Uchiha Sharingan. It can blind an enemy so thoroughly that they won't even be able to see their own body or hands. It's difficult to break free from, making your enemies vulnerable, Kurama replied. Wow, my old man was really prepared to counter the Uchihas, Naruto thought. Of course. Back in the day, the Senju and Uchiha were bitter rivals. The two strongest clans in the world, locked in constant conflict since before my time. That's why Senjus are so rare now. Most are dead, or their bloodlines have diluted over time, Kurama explained. So, that's why so many powerful ninjas come from our bloodline. They have Senju ancestry, Naruto realized. Exactly. Nearly half of the Jonin today are descendants of the Senju, Kurama said. Damn, that means I have a lot of family out there, Naruto thought. Yes, but most of them don't even know it. Some don't even know they are Senju descendants because the Senju were targeted during the wars, Kurama added. Oh, Naruto responded, processing that information. Naruto returned to his training. August 9, 1366 AD, Konoha, Root Headquarters. You must complete this task by the end of the week. This matter must be handled promptly. Should you decide to side with the opposition, the village will have no choice but to deal with the traitorous clan, regardless of the cost. You understand the consequences of your actions. Danzo's voice was stern, unwavering. I agree, but only if Satsuki is spared, Itaki replied firmly. Satsuki was the one person he held dear, and he would not let her suffer because of the clan's troubles. Understood. You have until Saturday, no later, Danzo said, his tone as cold as ever, as if discussing the weather rather than the fate of an entire clan. Incredible. Itaki agreed to this. If the Uchihas hadn't caused such turmoil, he'd be the ideal candidate for the fifth Hokage, Naruto thought to himself, his clone dissipating to signal that he needed to witness this important meeting firsthand. Such a time has come. The once mighty have fallen, Kurama commented. Naruto silently agreed. Itaka left promptly, and Naruto followed suit, sending a clone to observe the Uchiha clan in case anything went wrong. I suspect that after Itaka completes his mission, Danzo will likely attempt to collect all the fallen Sharingan, Kurama speculated. What? Why would he need more Sharingan? Doesn't he already possess Shisui's Mangekyo? Naruto wondered. Danzo likely seeks immortality. The Sharingan, in any form, grants nearly a minute of invulnerability. The power grows if you possess the eternal Mangekyo, but that's just a theory explaining why the masked Uchiha, Madara, only had one Sharingan when he fought your father. To achieve this immortality, he would need his Naga timing it just right to reverse fate, essentially allowing him to rewind and undo death itself. It's a powerful genjutsu, but if you had a Sharingan, you could counter it. Sadly, you lack both the eyes and the knowledge of how to use them, Kurama elaborated. That sounds way too overpowered. Naruto thought, impressed by the concept. The Uchihas used his Naga to counter traps and survive seemingly impossible situations. But they were so power-hungry that they used it to take control of the clan. Eventually, one Uchiha used his Inamai, ending the bloodshed. It's ironic that the Uchihas, known for their ruthless pursuit of power, forbade such a jutsu, something that could turn the tides of battle, Kurama chuckled. So, what do you expect me to do while Itaki is eliminating his clan? Naruto asked, his expression hardening. Collect the eyes, of course. We can't allow them to fall into the wrong hands, Kurama responded with a sly tone. But how can we manage that? We don't have the necessary resources, Naruto pondered. Simple. Gather these herbs, mix them into a solution, and store the eyes in a time-based scroll to preserve them. They won't degrade this way, Kurama instructed, listing the herbs required. Since your Senju clan is known for its medical expertise, I suspect these herbs are found in their district, Kurama added dryly, implying Naruto should have known this already. Naruto spent the night working with his clones, preparing the herbal solution to preserve the Sharingan. He estimated that of the 834 Uchihas, around 320 possessed Sharingan. You need to be wary of the female Uchiha, she has the potential to awaken the Mangekyo. If she obtains her brother's eyes, she could become as powerful as Madara, Kurama cautioned. I'll keep an eye on her. I won't let her fall too far into darkness, Naruto replied, determined. Good. Now, get some sleep. It's already past midnight, Kurama urged. Fine, Naruto sighed, knowing he had made around 400 preservation containers. He estimated that he had 2 days left to complete the task. Just as he was about to take a sip of water, he sensed something off about it. Kurama confirmed his suspicion. Naruto analyzed it carefully. This water seems to be contaminated. Most likely the work of the Foundation or Itake, he mused. That's a reasonable assumption, Kurama agreed. There's no way Itake could wipe out an entire clan on his own. Even with his skill, most Uchihas with Sharingan are Jonin level. It would be impossible for him to defeat them all without outside help, Naruto thought, wondering who else might be involved. Here's a reworded version to avoid copyright concerns while keeping the story intact. You'd better avoid drinking water from here. It's not safe. Get your water from the Senju training grounds instead. The quality there is far superior, Kurama suggested. Naruto lived on the edge of the village, close to the Uchiha compound. While the Uchihas had previously been neutral about him, the current state of relations made this proximity less than ideal. What was once a protective measure had now turned into something more dangerous. After hearing this, Naruto went to sleep, with plans to head to the Senju district early the next day to get water. I'll make sure to store some water so I won't have to go out every time I need some, Naruto thought as drowsiness took over. August 11th, 9:17 a.m. We move tonight, Itake declared. Understood. I'll assist you as agreed. But I have my own objective, and for that, I need you to keep your eyes closed, a deep voice responded. So, I won't be using my Sharingan in your plans, Itake remarked. Correct, and rest assured, I won't harm your little sister. She holds no value to me without the Sharingan, the voice said. Naruto observed carefully, his suspicion growing. He had an idea of who this might be based on Kurama's earlier description. Madara, do you think that is supposed to put my mind at ease? Itake asked, his tone deadpan. If you ever need refuge, you can join my organization, the masked figure Madara offered. Your organization? Itake asked, incredulously. The Akatsuki, Madara responded. So, he's the one who tore you away from my mother, Naruto thought, his eyes narrowing. Watch your back. He's likely after the Sharingan as well, Kurama warned. This just got more complicated, Naruto thought, feeling a tinge of anxiety. With that, the masked Uchiha disappeared, and Itake followed shortly after. It's happening tonight. You'll need to prepare, Kurama said, his voice serious. Naruto nodded and rushed back to his apartment, gathering what he might need for the possibility of facing 2 S-ranked ninjas. If necessary, he planned to use Kurama's chakra to retreat. Konoha, Uchiha District, 9 p.m. Most of the Uchiha are sick from the poisoned water, Naruto observed, realizing that the poison Itake had used was slow-acting, taking days to show its effects. This is the life of a ninja always prepared for anything, Kurama commented. I've been keeping an eye on the Umbu patrols. Danzo must have arranged it so they won't show up here for at least another 3 hours, Naruto thought, putting on his mask. It had been specially designed with seals to block Byakugan and Sharingan detection. Let's see. I've got 20 gravity seals, 30 flash bombs, and 30 paper bombs. I'll need to be careful how I use them, making sure not to reveal that anyone other than Itake is here, Naruto mentally calculated. 10:23 p.m. Naruto was sickened as he watched the massacre unfold. Itake had been merciless, though he showed some emotion when he used Tsukiyomi on his lover before going on to finish the job. Naruto got to work, collecting as many Sharingan as he could. He figured Madara would be at the police force, where the majority of the Sharingan users were located. He had set up some clones there to notify him of Madara's movements. By the time his clone had dispelled, Naruto had managed to gather 342 Sharingan. The clone that had been monitoring Madara was his signal to get out of there. He stayed hidden until Madara left the area. Ugh, Danzo has already taken some of the Sharingan. I underestimated him. He's got about 408, Madara muttered in irritation. Naruto's heart skipped a beat. He hadn't anticipated Root's involvement. He was fortunate to have avoided being spotted by either party. Danzo's here too. He has 66 Sharingan. Naruto thought, a bit of panic rising in him. Don't worry, kid. Danzo can only manage so many at once. He'll be annoying, but he won't be impossible to deal with, especially if he keeps running away, Kurama reassured him. As it stood, Naruto had 342 Sharingan, Danzo had 66, and Madara had 228, not counting any they'd already acquired before the massacre began. 11:23 p.m. Do you think we should help her? Naruto asked, his attention drawn to Satsuki's condition. You should use one of the genjutsu tags. It'll lessen the psychological impact of the Tsukiyomi, Kurama suggested. Impressive. My great-grandfather's inventions really come through, Naruto thought, admiring the technology. The genjutsu has mostly negated the psychological damage. We erased most of the memories from the genjutsu, so she shouldn't be as affected. But hurry up, the Anbu could arrive at any moment. Hiruzen's delaying tactics won't keep them off Ataka for long, Kurama urged. Naruto gathered his things quickly. Time was running out. Naruto dashed through the streets, taking care to avoid the Foundation's Anbu who were bewildered by the sight of so many Uchiha with missing eyes. But I can't help but feel I could have been quicker. The number of Sharingan both sides now possess is overwhelming. They've practically achieved their goal. It's impossible for them to die 66 times. They've gathered more than enough to fuel their ambitions. Naruto fumed as he reached his apartment. What did I really accomplish? I stopped nothing. They still have more than enough Sharingan for their needs. We've got 2 near immortals to face. And the counters you suggested are nearly impossible to pull off. All I've managed is to collect Sharingan, but they're completely useless. Naruto shouted in frustration. Without the sound seals around his apartment, the noise would have woken up everyone in the building. Calm down, kid. You're not facing them anytime soon. You've got time to experiment with those eyes and learn their weaknesses. This is a chance Tobirama never got, understanding the Sharingan on a deeper level. Once you know more, you'll be able to counter the Uchihas better than your ancestors could, Kurama said, trying to soothe Naruto. To Naruto, Madara Uchiha was the biggest threat to Konoha and himself. Gaining insight into the Sharingan, even at a basic level, could be a major advantage in neutralizing its power. If he could disrupt its ability to predict movements, the Uchiha's greatest strength would be greatly diminished. /N. I'm not giving Naruto a Sharingan. He's already powerful enough as it is. April 12th, year 1371. 8:30 a.m. Konoha Academy. Hey, idiot. Move aside, I'm sitting next to Satsuki. Kiba barked at a random student. The student complied quickly, knowing Kiba was the second strongest in Taijutsu after Satsuki. Kiba was known for his ruthlessness in fights, so most people didn't even bother challenging him. He spared his friends like Koji and Shino, but that was about it. Despite his prowess in physical combat, Kiba was not great at academics, which kept him firmly in the lower half of the class rankings. Iruka entered the room. I'm taking attendance, so settle down. Iruka ordered, but no one listened. He tried again. Shut up and sit down now. Iruka shouted, using his big head technique. Iruka began taking attendance, but when Naruto's name was called, there was no response. Ugh, is he late again? Iruka muttered. 10 minutes earlier. These Anbu are such idiots. Naruto thought with glee. He had just finished painting the Hokage monument in neon colors. Now that the job was done, he hurried off before he could get caught. Ha ha ha. The old monkey's face will be priceless when he sees this. Kurama laughed, sounding quite pleased with Naruto's mischief. I know right. Naruto replied, smirking. Lord Hokage. Naruto has desecrated the Hokage mountain. Uchiha exclaimed, his voice full of panic. Hiruzen's eyebrows furrowed in surprise. He made his way to the roof to see the damage. The face of the first Hokage had been altered to show a blushing expression, with an odd, almost lecherous smile, and blood dripping from his nose. The second Hokage's face had an even stranger modification, now with Sharingan in place of his normal pupils. The third Hokage's face, Hiruzen Sarutobi, had been transformed into a goofy grin, with blood dripping from his nose. But the most shocking change was to the fourth Hokage's face, Minato Namikaze. The whisker-like marks on his cheeks, now matching Naruto's, confirmed the obvious connection. His hair was painted in bright, almost neon yellow, making him look even more exaggerated than usual. Like the others, his face was adorned with a blush and blood dripping from his nose. Ha ha ha. Looks like Naruto really outdid himself, Hiruzen remarked, surveying the monument with a grin. But then, something dawned on him. His eyes widened as he saw the fourth face. The markings on the fourth Hokage's face were identical to Naruto's. Wait. Does he know about his connection to Minato? Hiruzen thought, surprised. I need that mess cleaned up immediately. It has to be fixed before the village notices. Hiruzen barked. Also, I need Naruto in my office unharmed as soon as the academy ends. This is of utmost importance. Hiruzen ordered one of his currently. Yo, Iruka-sensei. Naruto greeted as he walked into the classroom. Grr. Iruka growled. You're late. Iruka shouted. Sorry about that, Naruto replied, heading to his usual spot in the back. Iruka just marked him as present. The graduation test was about to begin, and everyone in the class was on edge. Based on my overall score, I need to do at least average to avoid being the dead last and failing outright, Naruto thought to himself. I guess I'll just have to score well in everything to pass, he mused with a sigh. He hadn't accounted for the new academic requirements placed on him now that he was a final year student. This situation is mostly due to the council's interference. They insisted on bringing more civilians into the forces, Kurama added. Naruto didn't seem overly concerned. He didn't need to be the best, but if he wanted, he could definitely become so. Iruka and Mizuki distributed the test papers for the students to begin. Everyone started writing. Mizuki, suppressing a smile, handed Naruto his paper, confident that Naruto would fail since he had no chance of performing the clone jutsu. Even if Naruto aced the written portion, his inability to create a clone would be a disqualifier from becoming a genin. 12:30 p.m. Naruto Uzumaki. Iruka called out. Mizuki's eyes gleamed with malice. Naruto executed the transformation jutsu without the need for any hand seals. He transformed into a blonde woman, a version of himself if he had been born female. The transformation caused quite a stir, leaving both Iruka and Mizuki flustered. Naruto quickly shifted back to his seat. Naruto! Iruka shouted in disbelief. Clone jutsu! Naruto declared, summoning 3 flawless clones. Iruka's anger turned to shock, followed by relief. Mizuki, stunned at first, began to fume internally. He managed to mask his emotions, but Naruto could sense the hatred emanating from him. Here you go, Naruto. You've passed, Iruka said, clearly impressed. I'll treat you to a Chirikas tonight at 8 p.m. Don't be late, Iruka added with a smile. Naruto grinned, nodding enthusiastically. After leaving the academy, Naruto was met with a scene of fellow students happily showing off their newly earned forehead protectors to their parents. Hey, Naruto, I need to talk to you. Follow me, Mizuki said, walking towards a quieter area. What's up, sensei? Naruto asked, following. You did well in the final exam, but because of your previous performance, you're still at the bottom of the class ranking. However, there's a way to change that and even become Rookie of the Year, Mizuki explained. All you need to do is retrieve the scroll of seals from the Hokage Tower. Just follow the instructions, and you'll be on top in no time. Naruto's face lit up with excitement. Mizuki gave a sinister grin, watching Naruto rush off. He has no idea what's coming, Mizuki thought, maliciously. At Naruto's apartment. Mr. Umbu, is there something you need? Naruto asked after determining whether the figure in front of him was from Root or the official Umbu. The Umbu agent was tall, with brown hair and a fit physique neither too muscular nor too lean. I'm here to escort you to the Hokage's office, the Umbu replied flatly. The Umbu placed his hand on Naruto's shoulder, and in an instant, they were transported to the Hokage's office. Hokage Tower. Yo, Gramps. Naruto greeted, strolling in casually. Hello, Naruto. How did you do on your test? Hiruzen asked warmly, a grandfatherly tone in his voice. He discreetly signaled for the Umbu to leave. I did well, Gramps. Naruto responded cheerfully. Hiruzen activated a silencing seal. That's good, Hiruzen said, smiling affectionately. So, I guess you want to talk about my little prank with the Hokage Mountain? Naruto asked, his tone more serious. Indeed, Hiruzen replied, his expression turning stern. Honestly, how could anyone miss the resemblance between me and my father? I'm practically a clone of him, just with a few whisker marks on my cheeks, Naruto said, deadpan. Hiruzen let out a slow puff of smoke from his pipe. I also know about the 9 tails sealed inside me. I've learned some basics about being a Jinchuriki, though it's tough when everyone views me as a walking time bomb, Naruto continued, a hint of sadness creeping into his voice. Hiruzen listened intently, his face thoughtful. The weight of his mistakes and neglecting Naruto was clear as he exhaled another plume of smoke. The least I can do is give you some of Minato's and Kushina's inheritance, Hiruzen said softly, his tone carrying a sense of regret. But keep quiet about your lineage for now. You'll need to become a Chunin before you can officially inherit their names. Why not just give it all to me now? Naruto asked, perplexed. Because it could raise suspicions. People are still watching their accounts, but once you reveal your true heritage, you'll receive everything, Hiruzen explained. That will be helpful. I've managed to replicate training techniques from watching others, and I've even learned the shadow clone jutsu by observing someone else. I'm still lacking in theoretical knowledge, but I'll catch up as I move through the ranks, Naruto said, his confidence evident. Hiruzen wasn't surprised. He had witnessed Naruto's skill with Kenjutsu and wasn't shocked at how strong Naruto had become without proper training. It only made him realize how much potential Naruto had yet to tap into. Hiruzen was considering different team placements for Naruto. His excellent stealth skills would make him perfect for a reconnaissance squad, but with his raw power, he might be better suited for an assault team, especially since Kakashi had expressed interest in having Minato's son on his squad. So, who do you think will be on your team? Hiruzen asked, curious to know Naruto's thoughts. I would say I am most suited for a high-intensity assault team, perhaps one with Sakura Haruno and Satsuki Uchiha. Sakura has excellent chakra control, making her ideal for support, while Satsuki has the potential to unlock the Sharingan, giving her an edge in ninjutsu and genjutsu. As for myself, with my vast chakra reserves, I can perform numerous jutsu consecutively without issue. While the team's dynamics might be unconventional, as long as we're on good terms, which we are, I believe we'd make a formidable group. Naruto explained. Sounds like the team I was considering, Hiruzen thought inwardly. Very well, I'll keep that in mind, the Hokage responded. Naruto grinned. Oh, I almost forgot to mention, Mizuki suggested I steal the scroll of seals as part of a secret test. He even gave me these instructions, Naruto added, handing over the scroll with directions on it. I think it would be best if I handled this assignment myself. However, if you could send an Umbu for backup, that would be greatly appreciated, Naruto suggested. Hiruzen thought over Naruto's plan and advice. Sending an Umbu along made sense. Naruto's life wouldn't be at risk, and it would push him to utilize more of his capabilities. Mizuki, after all, was one of the strongest Chunin in the village, so this would pressure Naruto to reveal his full potential. Alright, I'll send an Umbu named Nico. She will oversee the mission. Depending on how things go, the ranking will be set. For now, it will be a low-risk B-rank mission, Hiruzen stated. Thanks, Gramps. I won't let you down. Naruto replied eagerly. Good luck, Naruto. Take this, it's a blank scroll designed to mimic the real one. It's a tool to expose traitors, Hiruzen said, his voice solemn. Naruto took the scroll and waited for the right moment. 8:12 p.m. Naruto dashed out, with Mizuki having alerted the whole village about his actions. The Hokage had confirmed everything, so the plan was proceeding as expected. Naruto waited for about an hour, but to his surprise, Iruka arrived instead of Mizuki. Just as Iruka was about to scold Naruto for his actions, Mizuki appeared, demanding the scroll. Hand it over, Naruto. Mizuki commanded. Naruto's expression turned icy as he locked eyes with Mizuki. Under the Hokage's orders, you're under arrest. Naruto declared. Iruka was confused. Mizuki was demanding the scroll, but here was Naruto, claiming to be arresting Mizuki on the Hokage's command. Iruka couldn't believe Mizuki would betray the village, but at the same time, he was unsure of what to think. Mizuki sneered. Really, Iruka? You'd side with that monster? Mizuki mocked, grinning wickedly. Iruka's eyes widened in realization. No, I can't let him break the law. Iruka thought. The reason everyone despises you is because of the 9 tails inside you," Mizuki declared, pointing directly at Naruto. Without hesitation, Naruto was at Mizuki's side in an instant, ready to strike. Mizuki, taken aback by Naruto's speed, quickly leapt out of range. This speed, it's no accident. He's been hiding his true abilities, Mizuki thought, scrambling for something in his ninja pouch. He soon found a vial of Orochimaru's experimental strength-enhancing drug, not knowing its full effects, and swallowed it, significantly boosting his strength. Nico rushed to assist Naruto, but just as she closed in, she was sent flying away by a powerful strike from Naruto, narrowly dodging Mizuki's new enhanced strength. He's transformed. I didn't expect him to be that fast, Nico thought in a panic. Naruto quickly set up a strategy to outmaneuver Mizuki, making a shadow clone to distract him. The clone was destroyed in seconds, but Naruto didn't give up. He formed a quick hand sign, and mysterious kanji symbols appeared on the trees. A barrier erupted around Mizuki. Just when it seemed they had the upper hand, Mizuki shattered the barrier and lunged at the Anbu. Nico blocked several strikes, but just as Mizuki's fist was about to strike her unprotected side, Naruto sliced through his arm clean off. Mizuki howled in agony. Naruto seized Nico and jumped away. The fight had become much tougher than he expected. Mizuki's enhanced state was putting him on par with a high-ranking jonin in terms of physical strength. Naruto's eyes widened when Mizuki's severed arm grew back as though it had never been damaged. I see now. Mizuki's using some kind of drug, probably still experimental. If it were perfected, he'd be much stronger. He's probably got a limited time before the transformation wears off, Naruto whispered to Nico. The Anbu nodded. That could be the case, but we can't predict how long this effect will last. We need to save our strength until either the drug wears off or reinforcements arrive, Nico murmured. Or we can just defeat him, Naruto replied confidently. He pulled out a blade that, at first glance, appeared ordinary. However, it was crafted from a rare and specialized material known as chakra metal, and it was of the highest grade, forged in the Iron Country specifically for him. Nico glanced at the blade in surprise, as she, being an expert in kenjutsu, could immediately tell the exceptional quality. That sword must be crafted from grade 1 chakra metal, Nico thought. What do you think he'll do with that? You likely don't even know how to use it, Mizuki taunted with a smirk. Naruto's mind raced, focusing on the specifics of the situation. The regeneration must be taxing his chakra. If I can land enough serious blows, the drug's effects might burn themselves out, or at the very least, Mizuki's body will reach a point where it can't regenerate anymore, leaving him vulnerable. The battle was about to escalate. Naruto had to use every trick he had, making this fight a game of surprise and damage. Mizuki's claw strike nearly connected, causing Naruto to flash back to his training in the Forest of Death. Quickly, Naruto channeled chakra into his eyes, brightening his vision without resorting to a dojutsu. It was the result of his research on the Sharingan, and while it wasn't a full-fledged version, it gave him the ability to predict Mizuki's movements with some accuracy. It was the result of using Sage Chakra and Kurama's Chakra in a unique blend. With his newfound insight, Naruto spotted a weakness in Mizuki's back. He swiftly slashed in that direction, landing a hit that drew a scream of pain from Mizuki. Mizuki's expression twisted from pain to fury. In an instant, he launched himself at Naruto with incredible speed. Naruto barely managed to dodge Mizuki's onslaught, grazing him just enough to chip away at the strength the drug had given him. Mizuki grew desperate. With a roar, he unleashed a fireball jutsu, hurling it straight at Naruto. Naruto's eyes widened, realizing the imminent danger. He used the body replacement technique at the last second, swapping himself with a log. As Mizuki tried to recover from the attack, Naruto aimed to finish him, but Mizuki narrowly avoided the fatal strike and retaliated with a brutal punch to Naruto's gut. Naruto skidded backward. His chakra is running low. The drug's effects are fading, Naruto thought, gathering himself. He immediately created a handful of shadow clones to confuse Mizuki. While Mizuki was distracted, Naruto prepared for a more strategic approach. Mizuki, realizing what was happening, charged at Naruto in a frenzy, his mind clouded by desperation. I can't lose to this genin. I will bring him down, Mizuki thought fiercely. He began gathering fire chakra, preparing for his fire fist technique, a high-rank jutsu with enough power to leave serious damage in its wake. Naruto's instincts flared as Mizuki closed in. With a swift movement, Naruto infused his katana with wind chakra, delivering a lethal strike to Mizuki's heart, narrowly dodging the fire fist at the same time. Naruto's eyes widened in shock. He hadn't intended to kill Mizuki, only to learn about the drug and perhaps find a way to reverse its side effects. But now, that option was lost. A wave of guilt washed over Naruto. This was his first time taking a life, after all. Nico placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder, offering silent comfort. Iruka, watching from the sidelines, could hardly believe his eyes. He had just witnessed the so-called dead last of the academy defeat Mizuki, a traitor who had been enhanced by dangerous drugs. Though he felt sorrow for his old friend's betrayal, Iruka was relieved to see Naruto emerge victorious, with only minor injuries to show for it. The Hokage arrived in his regal robes, his gaze sweeping over the scene. "You've done more than expected, Naruto. You're as fast and strong as any Jonin," Hiruzen said, puffing his pipe with a smile. "I didn't know what I was really capable of." "I've been holding back a bit," Naruto admitted with a playful pout. Hiruzen chuckled heartily. However, his expression grew serious as he looked at Mizuki's transformed body. The once menacing figure now appeared weak and emaciated, like a lifeless husk. To think that a teacher in the academy was actually a spy. What would have happened if he had been given the order to eliminate his own students? Hiruzen thought, concern creeping in. Given the unforeseen developments, this mission should now be ranked as a low-rank mission. "I'll make sure this is taken into account when you are considered for your Chunin promotion," Hiruzen said with a smile. Naruto grinned widely. "Thanks, Gramps. Now, Naruto, Nico, return to my office for the mission report. Iruka, you can cancel the search for the Forbidden Scroll. The threat has been neutralized, and Mizuki is no longer a danger," Hiruzen commanded. "Understood, Hokage-sama." Everyone replied in unison. Naruto, Nico, and Hiruzen vanished in a flicker, heading to the Hokage's office to report the completion of the mission. 18th of January. Naruto groggily woke up, feeling the after-effects of a long night. His first mission had been a success, capturing a traitor, which was no small feat for a genin. Huh? Already morning? Naruto muttered in confusion. Mornings were never his favorite, and it seemed that wasn't going to change anytime soon. "You have a whole week to train. Get your official duties done so you can start," Kurama shouted, snapping Naruto out of his grogginess. Naruto grunted in response, having grown used to Kurama's loud outbursts by now. After completing his morning routine, Naruto prepared to receive his ninja identification. He wore the outfit his parents had chosen for him long before he became a genin. Minato and Kushina had picked out the same style of blue jumpsuit Minato had worn in his younger years. To make the resemblance less obvious, Naruto wore a black jacket on top, complete with a hood. He had no intention of revealing his lineage just yet. He jumped across the rooftops toward the Hokage Tower to receive his documents. 8:30 a.m. "Naruto Uzumaki?" The photographer called out. "Here." Naruto replied, uninterested. He made his way to the stool, sitting down and offering a slight smile for the photo. "And, done," the photographer said, handing him the picture. The photographer couldn't help but notice how different Naruto looked with his new appearance. Naruto then headed to the office where Hiruzen was waiting. "Hello Naruto, looks like you finally changed your clothes," Hiruzen chuckled. "Yeah, I'm a ninja now, so it's time to get serious. Let's finish this up. I have training to do," Naruto said with a wide grin. Hiruzen smiled at Naruto's enthusiasm. Suddenly, the door burst open, and a small child rushed into the room. "I'm going to be the 5th Hokage," the child shouted, but then tripped and fell flat on his face. "Ow, hey. You tripped me, didn't you?" the child yelled. "You tripped on your scarf, brat," Naruto shouted back. "Why you?" the child retorted, just as a Jonin rushed in. "Honorable grandson," the Jonin called out in panic. Naruto grabbed the child by the shirt and pulled him up to his face. "Hey. Put down the honorable grandson of the honorable 3rd Hokage," the Jonin shouted in a panic. Naruto raised an eyebrow in curiosity. "Is this brat your grandson, Gramps?" Naruto asked, looking at Hiruzen for confirmation. "Yes, he is my grandson, Konohamaru," Hiruzen replied. "Oh, Right. You mentioned him when he was born, Naruto remarked. Konohamaru puffed out his chest proudly. Now that you know my grandpa's the Hokage, show me some respect. Hiruzen mentally sighed, wishing Konohamaru hadn't said that. I don't care if he's your grandpa. Naruto retorted, playfully bonking Konohamaru on the head. The Jonin's eyes widened, surprised by Naruto's actions. Wow, this guy's different, Konohamaru thought as he rubbed his head. Here's your identification, Naruto, Hiruzen said, handing over the papers. And here's something for you. This jutsu is a variation of the shadow clone technique I developed. It's a gift for you graduating from the academy. Naruto grinned. Thanks, Gramps. As he left, the Jonin glared at him. Honorable grandson. You shouldn't be associating with him. He'll only hold you back. The Jonin said. Hiruzen shook his head. My grandson left a while ago, and he's following Naruto. What? The Jonin cried out in horror. Hiruzen sighed inwardly, hoping that Naruto could teach Konohamaru something important about being a ninja. On the streets of Konoha. How long is he going to follow me? Naruto wondered. Looks like you have your first fan, Kurama teased. Naruto scowled mentally. Hey, Brett. Stop following me. You're terrible at hiding. Naruto called out. Aw, man. You found me. Came the voice from behind a fence. You're wearing that cloth all wrong, Naruto said, palming his face in exasperation. Whoops, oh man. Konohamaru said, making a series of funny expressions, embarrassed by his mistake. Oh well. You're my new teacher now. Konohamaru exclaimed. Naruto raised an eyebrow. And why should I accept you as my student? Please, boss. You're way better than Ebisu. You knocked out the Hokage with that jutsu of yours. Teach me that. Konohamaru begged. Naruto thought back, trying to stifle a laugh. The jutsu Konohamaru wanted to learn was the sexy jutsu, the technique Naruto created to deal with perverts. I can't teach you that. It's forbidden by the Hokage. You'll need his permission first, Naruto said with a grin. January 18th. Naruto slowly opened his eyes, feeling groggy. It had been a long night. His first mission, capturing a traitor, had been a success, but he still hadn't passed the main exam. Is it morning already? Naruto murmured in confusion. He was never one for mornings, and it seemed that wouldn't change anytime soon. You've got a whole week to train, so get moving and finish your official tasks. Kurama's loud voice echoed, dragging Naruto out of his tired stupor. Naruto grumbled, used to Kurama's constant shouting by now. After completing his usual routine, he got ready to collect his ninja identification. He wore the outfit his parents had selected for him before his birth, a blue jumpsuit similar to the one Minato had worn when he was a genin. To mask the resemblance to his father, he layered a black jacket over it with a hood. He wasn't ready to reveal his true heritage just yet. Leaping across rooftops, Naruto made his way to the Hokage's tower to receive his official documents. 8:30 a.m. Naruto Uzumaki. The photographer called out. Here. Naruto replied, not particularly interested. He walked over to the stool, sat down, and flashed a small smile for the camera. And, done. The photographer said, handing him the photo. He was surprised by Naruto's new appearance. Naruto then headed for the documentation office where Hiruzen was waiting. Well, it looks like you've finally changed your clothes, Hiruzen chuckled. I'm a ninja now. Let's finish this quickly, I've got training to do. Naruto grinned. Hiruzen smiled at his enthusiasm. Just then, the door swung open, and a small child dashed in, heading straight for the Hokage. I'm going to be the 5th Hokage. The child shouted, only to trip and land face first. Ow, hey. You made me fall. The kid yelled. You tripped on your scarf, brat. Naruto shouted back. Why you? The kid retorted, but before he could do anything, a Jonin rushed into the office. Honorable grandson. The Jonin cried. Naruto grabbed the child by the shirt and pulled him up to eye level. Hey. Let go of the honorable grandson of the honorable 3rd Hokage. The Jonin shouted frantically. Wait, this kid is the Hokage's grandson. Naruto thought, raising an eyebrow. He looked at Hiruzen for confirmation. Yes, this is my grandson, Konohamaru, Hiruzen said, nodding. Ah, I remember now. You mentioned him when he was born, Naruto replied, suddenly recalling the conversation. Konohamaru puffed out his chest proudly. Now that you know my grandfather is the Hokage, show me some respect. He demanded. That's not quite how you should approach this, Konohamaru, Hiruzen thought with exaggerated concern. I don't care if he's your grandfather. Naruto yelled, bonking Konohamaru's head. The Jonin looked on in horror as Konohamaru hit the ground. Well, here's your identification, Naruto, Hiruzen said, handing him a scroll. And here's something I want you to learn. This is a jutsu I developed, a variation of the shadow clone technique, he added, offering Naruto a small gift. Naruto waved goodbye and left, with the Jonin glaring at him as he walked away. Honorable grandson. You should stay away from him. He'll only hold you back. The Jonin warned. Ebisu, my grandson left already, following Naruto, Hiruzen said calmly. What? Ebisu exclaimed in shock. Hiruzen sighed inwardly. I hope Naruto teaches him something useful about being a ninja, he muttered to himself. Konoha's streets. When is he going to stop following me? Naruto thought, slightly annoyed. It looks like you have your first fan, Kurama said with a chuckle. Naruto scowled mentally. Hey, Brett. Stop following me. Your stealth skills are pathetic. Naruto called out. Aw, man. You caught me. Came the voice from behind a fence. You're holding that cloth all wrong, Naruto said, face-palming. Wado, man. Konohamaru said, making a series of embarrassed expressions. Well, looks like you're my new student. Konohamaru said, excited. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Why should I accept you as my student? Please. You're way better than Ebisu. You knocked out the Hokage with that jutsu of yours. Teach me that. Konohamaru begged. Naruto suppressed a laugh. The jutsu Konohamaru wanted to learn was the sexy jutsu, a move Naruto had created specifically to deal with perverts. Sorry, I can't teach you that. It's forbidden by the Hokage, Naruto said with a grin. But if you get his permission, maybe we can talk. Konohamaru sighed in defeat. Aw, man. I can teach you something else, though, Naruto offered, grabbing Konohamaru's shoulder and using the body flicker technique to teleport them to a nearby training ground. Naruto began teaching him the tree climbing technique. Later, in the Hokage's office, Ebisu and Hiruzen watched Konohamaru's progress through a spy orb. Looks like Naruto's been a good influence on my grandson, Hiruzen chuckled. Indeed, Lord Hokage, Ebisu agreed, adjusting his glasses. January 24th. 6:23 p.m. Wake up. Kurama roared, startling Naruto from his sleep. Who's there? Naruto shouted, grabbing a kunao and scanning the area. No one's here. Why did you wake me up like that? Naruto mentally complained. You've healed enough. Go get dinner and start working on deciphering that cursed seal. Kurama insisted. Fine, Naruto grumbled. He had been thinking about Orochimaru's strength. The man likely surpassed the third Hokage, as Hiruzen was aging, while Orochimaru's immortality kept him at his peak. A counter to Orochimaru's cursed seal could be crucial if they ever crossed paths. Plus, Naruto could use it to protect others if the seal was ever placed on someone in the village. Flashback. A 10-year-old Naruto was wandering through training ground 29. I sense something off below, he muttered, detecting a strange chakra. He used an earth release jutsu to create a path downward. This place feels eerie. Naruto thought, unease creeping up on him. This chakra. I've felt it before, back when I was inside your mother, Kurama commented quietly. Naruto explored the area and discovered a journal. Flipping to the last page, he hoped for some clues. Yuck, what's that smell? Naruto exclaimed in disgust when he opened a door with the kanji for Mokuton inscribed. Inside, he found 4 bodies, their organs replaced with a strange, whitish substance. Naruto quickly used Mokuton to form small coffins for the bodies and paid his respects. He then covered his nose and read through the books detailing the experiments and methods of transplantation. So, this is Orochimaru's lab. He must have used it to figure out a safe method for transplanting Hashirama's cells, Naruto mused with a frown. So, Orochimaru is the one who made Danzo's right arm. Does that mean Danzo has Mokuton too? This is bad. Naruto muttered, growing concerned. Don't worry, kid. The power of those cells is diluted. Most of it is used to fuel the Sharingan, Kurama reassured him. But still, Orochimaru now has access to Mokuton. His intellect is dangerous, Naruto replied. The cells are too weak to pose any real threat. They might subdue a weak Jinchuriki, but Orochimaru likely has other ways to accomplish that, Kurama said with some frustration. Naruto left the room to explore further and eventually stumbled upon Orochimaru's main office. This seal. It uses nature chakra, but it's so inefficient. Why would he inject part of a soul into it? Naruto questioned in disgust, examining the early version of the cursed seal. Orochimaru could use this seal to take over another's body. He's seeking immortality by stealing bodies to extend his life and steal their abilities, Kurama said, disturbed. I need to figure out how to counter this. But this seal is just a prototype, there could be many different versions. I'll have to work fast to create counters for all of them. Naruto said, frustration clear in his voice. Flashback ends. Creating countermeasures for this seal is going to be a pain. Naruto shouted, fuming with frustration. Maybe we should think like Orochimaru. From what the old man said, he's after immortality so he can learn every jutsu, Kurama suggested. You think he's after Sasuke? Naruto asked, shocked. Yes. The Sharingan would open many doors for him. He could copy jutsu just by seeing the hand signs. He might have tried to get Atake, but neither of them has gone down yet. That means Orochimaru either ran or didn't dare to face Atake, Kurama reasoned. I bet he tried. Orochimaru probably overestimated himself. That's why he left Akatsuki shortly after Atake joined, Naruto thought aloud. Well, we've got a lead on where Orochimaru might target. This narrows down our search for what to make of the seal. If we create a seal specifically for the Uchihas, we'll be able to counter whatever Orochimaru has planned for that Uchiha girl, Kurama said. This does help a lot. Orochimaru likely has access to Danzo's Sharingan, which means he might have crafted a seal similar to what I could create, Naruto murmured thoughtfully. I'll need to pause any progress on the seals until I fully analyze Satsuki's chakra, Naruto thought to himself. Naruto returned to his apartment and decided to rest for the remainder of the day. Kurama was displeased that Naruto hadn't accomplished much, but understood the importance of taking time to rest, as it would help Naruto stay mentally sharp and relieve his stress. January 26, 6:30 a.m. A loud alarm suddenly woke Naruto up. Naruto groaned, blinking as he groggily took in his surroundings and mentally prepared himself for the upcoming team placements. He had a good idea of which team he'd be assigned to, but that didn't make him look forward to it. Sakura was incredibly annoying, shouting at everyone and punching anyone who irritated her. She was also a huge fan of Kiba, focusing more on her appearance than anything else. Kiba was a bit of a nuisance too, but his clan was prestigious, wealthy, and had significant influence over the village. Then there was Satsuki, a prideful Uchiha, arrogant and condescending, who thought most people were beneath her. She was exceptional in nearly every area of the ninja arts, and many girls were envious of her since Kiba had his eye on her. Satsuki was effortlessly beautiful and, to top it off, cold, emotionless, and seemed to have a stick up her rear end. She only spoke when absolutely necessary. Naruto went through his usual routine and got ready, wearing his new clothes. He had added several seals to his outfit, including storage seals, chakra-enhancing seals, temperature-resistant seals, waterproof seals, and even a mini chakra barrier that absorbed some of the incoming damage, but only up to a certain extent. 8:32 a.m. Naruto made his way to the academy. As he walked through the streets, no one seemed to recognize him, and he noticed that 12 Jonin were inside the Hokage Tower. They're probably observing the class, Naruto thought, with Kurama agreeing with the statement. He quietly entered the classroom, careful not to attract too much attention. Only a few students noticed him: Shikamaru, Shino, and Satsuki. The Jonin observing the class were a bit surprised by Naruto's new look. Only two, Kakashi and Asuma, were aware of his recent battle with Mizuki, as Hiruzen had informed them. But they were still unaware that Naruto knew who his parents were. Satsuki blushed slightly upon seeing Naruto's new appearance, as his clothes highlighted his physical changes. Shikamaru took a long look at Naruto, and after a moment of realization, Naruto simply smirked back at him. At this point, Shikamaru, Shino, and Naruto were probably the tallest in the class. Shino stood at 5 feet 4 inches, while Naruto had grown to 5 feet 5 inches since their last physical exam. Naruto walked to the back of the classroom and took a seat next to Shikamaru. Troublesome, Shikamaru muttered, immediately going back to sleep. The Nara must have noticed the change during the genin exams, and your new look likely confirmed whatever he was thinking, Kurama mused. Naras are too sharp for their own good, Naruto thought, rolling his eyes. Suddenly, Sakura and Ino burst through the door. I'm first, Ino pig. Sakura shouted. Your huge forehead gave you an advantage, but I still beat you to the door. Ino retorted, looking smugly at Sakura, who immediately shot back with insults. 8:45 a.m. Are they still fighting? When is this going to stop? Naruto thought, visibly irritated. Kiba walked in next, his dog barking loudly and drawing the attention of most of the class. Kiba smirked at the attention, but frowned when Satsuki simply glanced at him and then looked away, completely uninterested. Some of the girls in class had hearts in their eyes when they saw Kiba. However, only a few girls from ninja clans didn't fawn over him, as they were more focused on their careers than such distractions. Kiba took a seat next to Satsuki, and Sakura quickly sat next to him, glaring at Satsuki for taking his attention, but Satsuki just ignored her. Settle down, class. Iruka called out, but no one paid much attention. Sit down and pay attention. Iruka shouted, using his jutsu to amplify his voice. Everyone quickly quieted down and sat in their seats. I'm very proud to say that every single one of you has graduated, Iruka announced, a proud smile on his face. This has only happened a few times in the history of the village. Never forget what being a ninja truly means. It's the determination to protect what is precious to you, the will of fire. Each of you carries that will, just as the generations before you did. The will of fire is what makes our village strong. Many of our ninjas have sacrificed their lives defending this village, passing on that will of fire to the next generation. I hope you all carry it proudly and continue protecting this village with your lives. Iruka proclaimed, his words filled with pride. He went on to explain how the will of fire had been a key moral force during the Great Ninja Wars. I'll be announcing the assigned teams, Iruka said, surveying the students with a sense of pride. He hoped everyone had passed their Jonin exams and earned the title of Genin. Typically, only half of the students made it, and even fewer were placed in teams with actual Jonin mentors. The others either went back to the academy or dropped out to pursue civilian careers. This was due to the lowering standards for the Genin exams, making it difficult for students to impress their future instructors, which often resulted in failure. Naruto, however, was lost in thought as Iruka continued naming the teams. The teams being announced weren't of much importance to him yet. Team 7 consists of Naruto Uzumaki, Sakura Haruno, and Satsuki Uchiha, with your sensei being Kakashi Hatake, Iruka announced, his voice carrying an undertone of concern. Only Naruto and Shikamaru noticed, but neither of them reacted. Kiba's face contorted in frustration. Why does that loser get to be on the same team as Satsuki? Kiba exclaimed angrily. It's because Satsuki's the rookie of the year, and Naruto's the class's bottom, Iruka responded, his tone measured. Kiba huffed in response, clearly annoyed that Naruto was on the same team as Satsuki. Meanwhile, Sakura, clearly displeased with the team assignment, slammed her head on the desk. She was less than thrilled to be paired with the two people she couldn't stand. Sakura harbored jealousy towards Satsuki and avoided Naruto due to his lack of popularity with the class and his occasional annoying behavior. Satsuki, on the other hand, was puzzled by the weak team she had been assigned. She had little patience for Sakura's loudness, and she didn't have a high opinion of Naruto either. However, she had noticed a change in him after graduation. Gone were the pranks that had once defined him, instead, he had become strangely quiet, almost distant. Team 8 consists of Kiba Inezuka, Hinata Hyuga, and Shino Abarame, with your sensei being Kurenia Ui. Team 9 consists of Hitai Hibachi, Akuromitsu, and Inabi Shoru, with your sensei being Hagegeko. Team 10 consists of Ino Yamanaka, Shikamaru Nara, and Koji Akamiki, with your sensei being Asuma Sarutobi, Iruka continued. Your senseis will be here shortly. I look forward to working alongside you as comrades, Iruka said with a tone of pride. Naruto, however, had already laid his head on the desk, knowing that Kakashi Hatake was infamous for his lateness. Teammate. A female jonin called out. The members of Teammate stood up and walked towards their sensei. Looks like the loser squad gets a loser sensei, Kiba taunted, glancing at Naruto with a smug grin. Naruto didn't even react, continuing to sleep. Kurenia shook her head in mild annoyance. Asuma chuckled lightly at the situation. 12:01 p.m. Yo. A masked, one-eyed jonin greeted cheerfully. The group stared blankly at him. Well, my thoughts on you three are pretty dull, Kakashi said, leaving them all in stunned silence. Get to the academy rooftop within 5 minutes. That's where we'll meet, Kakashi said, before disappearing with a flicker. The three of them quickly made their way to the rooftop. Once there, they sat in front of Kakashi, waiting for him to speak. Why don't you introduce yourselves first? Kakashi asked, looking at them expectantly. Say your name, your likes, dislikes, hobbies, goals. You know the drill, he added after a brief pause. Sensei, why don't you introduce yourself first, so we know what to say? Sakura suggested. Well, my name is Kakashi Hatake. I like many things, dislike few, and as for hobbies, I have a lot. I don't really have any goals, Kakashi replied lazily. The trio was taken aback by his vague response. Well, why don't you start, Pinky? Kakashi said, pointing at Sakura. Sakura huffed but complied. My name is Sakura Harino. I like reading and, well, a certain someone, she said with a dreamy look in her eyes. What about your dislikes? Kakashi asked, snapping her back to reality. I dislike Naruto and Satsuki. Sakura said, her voice tinged with annoyance. Oh, and my hobbies are shopping and making sure I always look my best. My dream is to marry a certain someone, she added, her eyes practically sparkling as she spoke. The others could only think, fangirl. What about you, Blondie? Kakashi asked, looking at Naruto. Well, my name's Naruto Uzumaki. I like the Hokage, the village, and ramen. I don't like people who judge others without reason or fangirls. I enjoy trying new ramen flavors and trainin'. My goal is to become Hokage and bring peace to the world. Naruto declared with determination. Kakashi raised an eyebrow, clearly surprised. He's changed. I'll have to keep an eye on him, he thought. And now, it's your turn, Sunshine, Kakashi said, looking at Satsuki. Satsuki just scowled, her tone cold as she spoke. My name is Satsuki Uchiha. I don't like anything in particular, but I hate a lot of things. My only hobby is training. My goal is to rebuild my clan and eliminate someone, she said with a chilling intensity. Sakura couldn't help but think, yikes, I hope she's not talking about me. Naruto, on the other hand, thought, she wants to kill Ataka that badly, huh? Kakashi narrowed his eye, internally confirming his suspicions. Now that we've all introduced ourselves, I'll tell you the real reason we're meeting. Tomorrow at 6 a.m., I expect you all to be at Training Ground 7 for a survival training session, Kakashi announced. But sensei, we already did survival training at the academy. Sakura protested. Kakashi chuckled ominously, sending a shiver down their spines. This isn't your typical survival training. This is your final exam to see if you're truly worthy of being genin. Out of 30 students, only 9 will make the cut, Kakashi explained, making Sakura's eyes widen in shock. Also, don't bother having breakfast, because you'll be throwing it up anyway, Kakashi added nonchalantly. He jumped off the railing and began walking away. Just before leaving, he turned back to give them one last cryptic message, look underneath the underneath. Naruto's eyes narrowed at those words. Something didn't sit right with him. 8:23 a.m. Why are you so late? Sakura exclaimed at Naruto. You should understand your opponent, Naruto replied calmly, settling down on one of the stumps. Sakura huffed in confusion, not grasping his meaning. 8:58 a.m. Naruto turned his head just as Kakashi materialized out of thin air. So, he has the same sensing abilities as his parents, Kakashi thought. You're late. Sakura shouted. Naruto, however, had already plugged his ears, leaving Kakashi and Satsuki to endure the ringing in their ears. To pass my test, you need to get these bells, Kakashi stated, pulling out 2 bells. But sensei, there are only 2 bells. Sakura protested. Kakashi chuckled. Since only a third of your class can pass, I'm giving only 2 of you the chance to succeed, Kakashi emphasized, giving extra weight to the word chance. Also, the ones who don't get a bell won't be getting lunch, Kakashi added, prompting a few grumbles from the students. More like you advised us not to eat, rather than commanding it, Naruto muttered. Ah, so you were the only one who looked beneath the surface, Kakashi remarked, an amused gleam in his eye. You all have until noon to get the bells, Kakashi added. And we'll start in 3, 2, 1, go. He called out. Satsuki and Sakura dashed off, but Naruto remained still. Why aren't you hiding? Kakashi asked, noting Naruto's unusual stillness. He knew of Naruto's abilities to some extent. We both know where those 2 are, and I understand the real purpose of this test, Naruto answered, his tone serious. Kakashi's right eye widened slightly. But my team has a flaw, our personalities clash. We won't work together unless there's a compelling reason to, Naruto continued, his tone more serious. That's not my problem, Kakashi shrugged, uninterested. The council and the Hokage will be breathing down your neck if you fail us, Naruto said with a smirk. Kakashi paused for a moment, acknowledging the truth in Naruto's words. I still want to see how you work with them. It doesn't hurt to try, right? Kakashi suggested. Fine, but first, test us. Then when they fail, I'll suggest teaming up, Naruto responded. Alright then, let's spar, Kakashi said, shifting into a taijutsu stance. First lesson, taijutsu, Kakashi declared, knowing he'd have to take Naruto more seriously after the events of the previous week. Naruto took his stance, one he called, the Senju Speed Fist. He wasn't great at naming things, much like his father. The 2 of them engaged in a full-on taijutsu battle. Kakashi couldn't help but think, this style feels familiar, it resembles Sensei's taijutsu a bit. For several minutes, they exchanged blows. Naruto, I think I should go test your teammates now. You did well, Lord Hokage mentioned your victory against the traitor, Mizuki, Kakashi said. Thanks, Sensei, see you later. Naruto said before disappearing without a trace. Satsuki and Sakura watched, astounded. Naruto had kept up with the top-tier jonin, and they could barely follow the battle due to the sheer speed of their movements. They were puzzled when Naruto retreated, but dismissed it for the time being. By the way, Sakura, behind you, Kakashi whispered, appearing next to her. Sakura's brain struggled to process the information. She turned around to find Kakashi had already placed her under a genjutsu. The illusion showed Kiba limping toward her, heavily injured in critical areas. Sakura, help me. Kurenia-sensei was too strong. Kiba cried out in distress. Sakura fainted on the spot. Well, that's disappointing, Kakashi thought. 1 hour later. Kakashi was casually reading Make Out Paradise, Volume 1, in a random clearing in Training Ground 7. This is my chance. Satsuki thought, spotting an opening. She hurled a few shuriken at Kakashi, one of them narrowly missing, but cutting a tripwire that triggered a trap of kunai being launched toward Kakashi. She's trying to bait me into dodging left so I'll be in the path of the trap. Clever, Kakashi thought, quickly substituting himself with a nearby log to avoid the incoming kunai. Realizing her position was compromised, Satsuki quickly dashed away, but after 5 minutes of running, she found Kakashi once again sitting in the same spot, calmly reading. I'm not like them. She shouted, forming a few hand seals. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. She unleashed a massive fireball at Kakashi. Genins shouldn't have enough chakra for a jutsu that size, Kakashi thought, mildly surprised. But she's from the Uchiha clan, I can't underestimate her, Kakashi acknowledged, getting more serious. The fireball collided with the ground, leaving behind only a smoking crater. Kakashi was nowhere to be found. Where is he? Left? Right? Behind? Above? Satsuki thought, scanning for any sign of her sensei. The earth trembled as Kakashi emerged from beneath the ground, grabbing Satsuki, and pulling her to the floor. Satsuki scowled, frustrated at her defeat. She hadn't lasted as long as Naruto had. The nail that sticks out the farthest gets hammered first, Kakashi said sagely. Kakashi then moved off to track down Naruto, who had cleverly hidden his presence. Looks like they didn't perform too well, huh? Naruto remarked. Satsuki did alright, but Sakura, she doesn't deserve the 4th highest rank in our class. She only has potential, no real skills, Kakashi replied. The standards have dropped significantly. People seem to forget the first lesson we were taught: always keep your true abilities hidden until necessary. Plus, there's too much focus on academics, elevating those who excel in theory but lack practical experience, Naruto observed. Kakashi nodded in agreement. Now, do your part and team up with them, Kakashi ordered. Naruto nodded and headed off to find his teammates. He decided to locate Satsuki first, as she was the more level-headed of the two. Yo, Satsuki, Naruto greeted as he approached her. She scowled. Get me out of here, I need those bells, she said. First, hear me out, Naruto responded, crouching down next to her buried form. You know that genin teams are made up of 3 genin and 1 jonin, right? Naruto asked. Get to the point. She snapped. Chill out. The thing is, Kakashi's test is designed to pit us against each other. The 3rd Hokage used this test for his students too. You know there are 3 Sunin, not just 2, Naruto said. This test has been passed down through generations, and now Kakashi's running it. The real goal is teamwork, he explained. Satsuki paused to think it over. If you want, I'll give you my bell if I get it. But the real issue is getting Sakura to agree to join us, Naruto added. Fine, I agree. Get me out of here, Satsuki said, realizing that Naruto's offer gave her a much better chance of passing. Naruto freed her from the ground, and they both set off to find Sakura. Convincing her was going to be the real challenge. Sakura's not a fan of either of us, Naruto muttered. Yo, Sakura. Naruto called out. Huh? What are you doing here? You're giving away my position. Sakura yelled, panicking as she thought the genjutsu was real. Kakashi already knows where we are. He put you under a genjutsu, that's why you're so worried, Naruto explained. Sakura paused, then reluctantly agreed with him. I know about the test. The 3rd Hokage gave it to his team too. Kakashi's just trying to make us fight each other. I'll even give up my bell to you both if I'm wrong, Naruto said. Sakura saw the benefits of the deal, and it made sense to join forces with Satsuki and Naruto. If Naruto was right, they all stood a better chance. I've got a plan. First, here's what we're going to do. Naruto began, outlining his strategy. The others offered suggestions and agreed, confident that it would work. 11:03 a.m. Naruto rushed toward Kakashi, who dodged with ease and was about to elbow him. However, he had to avoid 3 kunai coming from Sakura's direction. Kakashi landed, only to see a massive fireball heading straight for him. Naruto teamed up with them after all, Kakashi thought with a grin. Kakashi used the substitution technique, narrowly escaping, but he had to continue dodging as Naruto sent a barrage of kunai with deadly accuracy. Kakashi noticed Naruto closing the distance. What? He's actually keeping up with me. Kakashi thought in surprise. 3 of Naruto's clones appeared from the right, forcing Kakashi to adjust his path. The chase continued for about 15 minutes. Neither Kakashi nor Naruto showed any signs of tiring. Kakashi realized that Naruto was trying to bait him. He jumped toward Satsuki, aiming a punch, but she vanished in a puff of smoke. Naruto replaced her with one of his clones, Kakashi thought as he dodged a barrage of kunai from Sakura and Naruto's clones. Wait, these kunai and shuriken, they smell just like Naruto. That means. Kakashi quickly jumped away and used a single hand seal to create a large fireball to counter the incoming weapons. The kunai and shuriken transformed into smoke. They weren't normal clones. They were transformed clones of Naruto. Kakashi realized with newfound respect. Nice try, Naruto. But you'll need more than that to take the bells, Kakashi said, nodding in approval. What bells, sensei? Naruto asked innocently. Kakashi checked his pockets but found them empty. How could this be? Kakashi asked in surprise. You figured it out too late, sensei. I took the bells before you realized the kunai were my clones. Naruto declared proudly. Kakashi chuckled. He had underestimated Naruto, but he knew it wouldn't be right to use the Sharingan against a genin. Alright, Naruto. You were right with your analysis. But from here on out, you three are a team. It doesn't matter who benefits. You must do whatever it takes for your teammates. In this world, those who break the rules are scum, but those who abandon their comrades are worse than scum. Kakashi said seriously. He led the team toward the Konoha monument. These names are of the heroes of the Leaf Village, Kakashi said somberly. They gave their lives for this village. I want to be remembered on that monument, Naruto declared. Do you even understand what Kia means? Sakura snapped. To die defending the village is a true honor. I'll protect the hidden leaf with my life. That's the spirit of the will of fire. And that's what it takes to become Hokage. Naruto said, his eyes blazing with conviction. Kakashi smiled and ruffled Naruto's hair, pride visible in his expression. That's what it means to be a ninja of the leaf, Kakashi said, his voice filled with pride. Sakura lowered her gaze, feeling a bit ashamed. Satsuki remained silent and expressionless. Starting tomorrow, the three of you will be handling missions for the village. Kakashi announced. You're dismissed. Meet me at the bridge at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Don't worry, I'll be there on time, Kakashi said, disappearing in a flash. The trio scattered, each heading to their own homes. I'm hungry, but I don't have much money left this month. Naruto muttered to himself. He was still broke since his inheritance wasn't available to him yet, and he wouldn't get access to it unless he became a jonin or turned 18, whichever came first. The money from missions won't be much, so I need to save up, Naruto thought with a sigh. Kid, why not sell your seals? You could tell the Hokage about their uses, and you'd make a lot of money from the village. Your seals can do a lot of things, like tracking someone's health or aiding in battle. They're top quality, too, so you could easily outdo the competition, Kurama suggested. I need to work on those seals, though. Right now, they're too complicated, which makes it hard to reproduce them. I'll need to redesign them to make them easier for my clones to replicate but still tough for others to copy. It'll be a lot of work, Naruto thought back to Kurama. Do it. Have you seen how expensive seals are nowadays? Ninjas pay a lot for them, and some can't even afford them, so they go into battle without any. Kurama urged. True, seals are pretty pricey these days. They're essential for ninjas, Naruto thought. This also gives you the chance to learn how to run a business. The Senju clan used to own plenty of businesses in the village, and I think a few accountants still manage them under the Hokage's supervision. Your parents built a fortune while your father was Hokage, using his position to trade and accumulate wealth. Everyone in the higher UPS knows about this and would love to take on the Hokage position. Even the Sarutobi clan was once poor and relied on the Senju for financial support, Kurama explained. But isn't that kind of shady? Isn't that insider trading? Naruto asked. Yeah, it is, but the Hokage has a lot of legal protection, so he can't be touched by such things. People just overlook it because they think the Hokage deserves some rewards for everything he does to protect the village, Kurama answered. Wow, that's a lot of power. Naruto remarked, surprised. Exactly, kid. That's why they don't just hand over the position. I've heard Orochimaru was once a candidate, but Minato was stronger, had good intentions, and came from a respected lineage, so he won. Orochimaru's true nature was only a matter of time before it was exposed, Kurama said. So, what does it take to become Hokage, politically speaking? Naruto asked. That's the tricky part. A lot of it is out of your hands. But if you can gain good influence in the village, it can tip things in your favor. Plus, your heritage will give you a good foundation, Kurama responded. So, starting a business and building connections with important people will give me a better shot at becoming Hokage. Naruto asked. Exactly. If you have money, people will start flocking to you, so get to work on those seals. Kurama shouted. Naruto's eyes lit up with determination, and he dove into his project. The seals Naruto intended to sell included tracking seals, prisoner seals, chakra storage seals, explosive seals, paralysis seals, Biju chakra suppression seals, food storage seals, can preserve food for up to a month, jutsu seals, can create elemental jutsus depending on the seal, weapon dispensing seals, barrier seals, and more. It was a huge list, so Naruto would need to use a lot of shadow clones to get through it all. January 30th, 11 a.m. Sensei, I suggest we spend our weekends focusing solely on missions and train the rest of the week, Naruto proposed. Why should I take your suggestion seriously? Kakashi asked, curious about Naruto's reasoning. It's because once we reach a high enough level, we'll be able to take on more advanced missions, which will drastically increase our income. That's crucial for someone like me, who doesn't have another steady source of income, Naruto explained. That's acceptable, Kakashi responded thoughtfully. Alright then, I'll follow your suggestion after this week. I've already selected your missions for the week ahead, Kakashi added. They all acknowledged his words. At the Hokage's office. Hello, Team 7, greeted Hiruzen. We're here to receive our first mission, Lord Hokage, Naruto spoke up. Ah. That's excellent. I believe this is the task Kakashi requested for you three, Hiruzen said, pulling a scroll from a pile on his desk. Your mission is to paint the Yamanaka family compound's exterior walls, Hiruzen said, handing the scroll over to Kakashi. Sakura and Satsuki both wore stunned expressions. What? This is a chore, was their silent reaction. Looks like Naruto anticipated the nature of our missions, Kakashi thought to himself. 3:23 p.m. You all did a fine job with the mission, you're dismissed for the day. Your payment will be transferred to your accounts by 6 p.m., Kakashi stated, vanishing in a body flicker. Naruto, too, disappeared in a body flicker, his mind already focused on his next task. 4:30 p.m. Wait a minute. I've got it. Naruto shouted in his room. If I use the chakra-based writing technique, I can save myself a lot of effort. Naruto said excitedly. The chakra writing technique has two main variants, one where the user creates a seal instantly, and another where the user inscribes it on their body and can reuse it multiple times. Only those who've mastered sealing at the 7th level can use it, as it requires immense skill in the art. So you wasted all that time training only to realize this now? Kurama chuckled. Keep it to yourself. Naruto grumbled, annoyed. Naruto and his clones then set to work brainstorming the design for the security seal. 6:02 p.m. Finally. The security seal is ready. Naruto yelled, grinning with pride. He had combined several types of security seals, adding his own flair to ensure that only his chakra could fully unlock the seal. This was effectively a dual-layered security system. The outer layer would require his chakra to reveal the second layer, making it nearly impossible to crack, especially as Naruto planned to make even stronger seals in the future, rendering any attempts to break it futile. Now I need to get a lot of paper and scrolls for production. I should probably talk to the Hokage about it. He might lend a hand, Naruto muttered. He didn't have much money left, so he needed to consult the Hokage before proceeding further with his plan. 6:20 p.m. Hey, old man. Naruto greeted. Naruto. What brings you here? Hiruzen asked. It's something important, Naruto said, signaling to Hiruzen that he needed privacy. Hiruzen nodded, signaling to the Anbu to leave the room and then sealed the office with a barrier. So, what's this about? Hiruzen asked with a serious tone. I've developed these sealing tags. Take a look, Naruto said, handing them over. Hiruzen inspected them with surprise, struggling to decipher some of the seals. He was a level 8 seal master, after all. I plan to sell these seals, but I need some resources to keep production going. I'm confident these will be useful to the village's ninjas. I'll offer them at a lower price initially and raise the price once people get accustomed to them, Naruto explained. How can I assist you with this? Hiruzen asked, intrigued. He was open to supporting these innovative seals, but he wanted to understand what Naruto needed. I need access to one of my parents' bank accounts. I'll handle the production, and I can use deranged missions to supply the seals, Naruto requested. Hiruzen puffed thoughtfully on his pipe. It was a significant risk to grant even limited access to one of their accounts. Well, I can give you the credentials to access the account, but I won't transfer ownership to you, Hiruzen said. He understood the risk but believed the seals would benefit the village, all while keeping Naruto independent and free from debt. Sounds good, Gramps. Thanks a lot. Naruto exclaimed. Also, I'd prefer to keep my identity anonymous while selling these tags. I don't want them to lose value just because I made them, Naruto added, a frown on his face. That I can do, my child, Hiruzen replied, his voice tinged with a hint of sadness. Well, since you're here, how about we grab some dinner? Hiruzen asked, trying to shift the mood in the room. Absolutely. We're heading to Ichiraku's. Naruto shouted, his excitement evident. All right, Naruto, Hiruzen responded with a smile. February 3rd. 8:14 a.m. Damn. Over 22,000 orders already. Gramps really helped promote my seals. Naruto shouted, his face lighting up with joy. The first batch of orders earned him a profit of 80 million ryo. Having the Hokage's backing had massively boosted his sales. It would take about 2 hours to complete the orders, using 20 clones to help out. Each seal cost 15 ryo to make, just for the paper, but Naruto had to eat a lot to keep his chakra levels high, which made the cost of producing the seals quite substantial. Creating effective seals requires someone to be at least level 4 in the sealing arts, a skill that takes years to perfect. This meant that while demand for the seals was high, the number of people able to create them was limited. Why not learn the healing arts instead? Well, only a select few, like the Uzumaki and Senju, had the talent and resources to master those. That's why there was such a demand for the seals. Naruto now had to supply all the tags to shop owners and the Umbu headquarters. The Umbu Black Ops used a large number of seal tags, particularly explosive and paralysis ones, so they were always in need. Although Naruto's earnings seemed massive, they were nothing compared to the elite of Konoha. His goal was to rise to their level on his own, gaining influence over the village before tapping into his inheritance. That way, if he made mistakes, he could learn from them without jeopardizing his inheritance. March 2nd. I'm so tired of these boring missions. I need something better. Naruto grumbled, clearly displeased. They were tasked with catching Tora, the daimyo's wife's cat, which turned into a frustrating chase. Kakashi had limited Naruto's speed and banned him from using shadow clones. Mission, Tora's capture, completed, Kakashi reported to the Hokage. What mission will you take next? Guarding the mayor's grandson in the Satora district, milking cows on a farm, babysitting the son of Hibachi Marino, helping Lady Shiranui with shopping. Or catching Tora again, Hiruzen listed. Naruto, Satsuki, and Sakura all had horrified expressions at the thought of those missions. Lord Hokage, I believe we're ready for missions of a higher rank. We've been training for a whole month and have completed the required number of D-rank missions to qualify for C-rank, Naruto stated, his voice full of determination. Sakura and Satsuki nodded in agreement. Hiruzen turned to Kakashi for his input. A C-rank mission would help them gain valuable experience. It would also allow them to work on their teamwork, Kakashi thought. Lord Hokage. They're still inexperienced genin who just graduated. Irika protested. We can't send them outside the village yet. He continued. They're strong enough to handle any C-rank mission that comes their way, Kakashi countered, his tone calm but confident. Bullard and Irika started to object, but Hiruzen raised a hand to stop him. It's fine, Irika. I'm aware of their abilities. They may lack experience, but they're ready for this, Hiruzen said. I have a mission for you then. It involves guarding and escorting a bridge builder as he completes his project. You'll escort him to the Land of Waves, where there may be threats from thugs and others, Hiruzen said, handing the mission scroll to Kakashi. Bring in Mr. Tajuna, Hiruzen instructed over the intercom. Tajuna entered the room with an annoyed expression. What? Hiccup, I thought I would be dealing with actual ninjas, not kids. Tajuna barked. Especially that girl with the bright hair and odd clothes. How does someone like that become a ninja? Tajuna continued, targeting Sakura. Sakura was furious and stepped forward, ready to confront him, but Naruto held her back. It was obvious to everyone that Tajuna was drunk. You got exactly what you paid for, Naruto retorted. Relax, Tajuna. We have one of our best jonin with you, so there shouldn't be any issues, Hiruzen said, attempting to de-escalate the situation. Tajuna begrudgingly accepted, realizing it wasn't wise to insult Konoha's ninjas to their faces. You better be ready to give your all for me. Tajuna shouted as he stormed out of the office. Wait a minute, isn't Geto involved in some illegal activities in the Land of Waves? Naruto thought, a sinking feeling in his gut. Alright, pack up for a long trip, at least a month's worth of supplies. Meet me at the southern gate at 8 a.m. tomorrow, Kakashi ordered. The team nodded and departed. March 3, 7:52 a.m. It's good that you three arrived early, Kakashi said with his characteristic eye smile. Looks like he's taking this mission seriously, Naruto mused. We need to stay prepared for anything. This mission could take a dangerous turn, and we might encounter enemies, so I'm going to check your gear and make sure you're ready for anything, Kakashi warned. Tashina flinched when Kakashi mentioned facing ninjas. Both Kakashi and Naruto noticed, and it became clear that Tashina was hiding something. His fear was more than just nerves, it felt like guilt. Great, Satsuki, you're fully prepared, Kakashi acknowledged. Sakura, you're good too, but you might want to ease off on the makeup and perfume a bit. You're too young for those kinds of missions, Kakashi joked. Sakura scowled, but when she saw Naruto hadn't brought anything, she smirked, thinking he'd be reprimanded. Let's see what you've packed, Naruto, Kakashi ordered. Naruto revealed the seals he had inscribed on his body, activating a small amount of chakra to show them off. Well done, Naruto. Kakashi praised. To have such advanced seals, even if it's just a storage seal, it could probably hold tons of goods. Only Minato-sensei and Lady Kushina had such skills, Kakashi thought, impressed. He's truly their son, Kakashi mused with a smile. The team signed out and made their way towards the gates. Alright, let's head to the land of waves, Kakashi announced. 11:34 a.m. Ah, that hit the spot. Naruto sighed in contentment after finishing his meal. They were back on the road, moving towards their destination after a brief lunch. As they continued, they noticed a small puddle in the middle of the road. A pond in this dry weather? It hasn't rained in days, and the climate's pretty arid. Poor attempt at a genjutsu, Naruto thought with mild disdain. He had sensed the presence of enemies a while ago, but didn't expect them to fail so miserably at covering their tracks. Kakashi had the same thought. Let's see who their target is, Kakashi decided. Just as the group passed the puddle, Kakashi was ensnared by sharp chains that tore through him, thanks to the two rogue mist ninjas hidden inside it. The one on the left lunged toward Naruto, slashing at his throat, while the other advanced on Tashina. Seeing Naruto fall, Satsuki awakened her Sharingan. You bastard! Satsuki screamed as she charged towards the rogue ninja who had attacked Naruto. The other rogue, noticing the girl's fury, turned to stop her but found himself kicked to the ground by Kakashi. The one who had attacked Naruto dodged Satsuki's strike and prepared to finish her off, but he suddenly found himself crashing into a tree, courtesy of Naruto, who was very much alive. Naruto quickly sealed the rogue ninja in place, then tied him up, while Kakashi dealt with the other and did the same. Looks like you've unlocked your Sharingan. Congratulations, Naruto said to Satsuki, a touch of admiration in his voice. Satsuki was still processing what happened. She was glad to have awakened her Sharingan, but she was furious with Naruto for faking his death in front of her. Satsuki slapped Naruto across the face. Ouch. What was that for? Naruto exclaimed, clearly annoyed. I thought you were dead. Satsuki yelled back, her Sharingan blazing. I needed to see who the target was, us or Tashina, Naruto explained calmly. Satsuki blinked in confusion, her mind catching up. Now we know, Naruto continued. Tashina, why did you lie about the mission? Kakashi asked, narrowing his eyes at the now guilty-looking client. Tashina recoiled under the intensity of Kakashi's glare. What do you mean? Tashina stammered. Kakashi's glare only intensified. They were targeting you, huh? Did you think we wouldn't notice? Naruto said, his tone calm but direct. All right. Yes, I have enemies. Someone incredibly powerful is after me. What you all don't know is that Geto has completely taken over my village, seized all the ports, and imposed outrageous taxes. It's completely drained us financially. The only hope we have left is the bridge I'm building. This bridge will connect us to the mainland and put Konoha in the middle of our fight with Geto. That's our chance to finally overthrow his rule. Tashina explained, his voice growing more intense with emotion. But that still doesn't excuse putting my team in harm's way, Kakashi responded sharply. You've endangered us by lying about the mission. My genin are still new and untested. This mission is way beyond their current experience level. Please. We have nothing left. I couldn't afford a higher ranking mission, not with the resources we have. If I die, my family will be left to fend for themselves. My daughter will never trust a Konoha ninja again, and my grandson, he'll cry every night thinking I abandoned him. Tajuna pleaded, looking desperate. The three genin exchanged a silent, deadpan glance. Kakashi paused, considering the situation. Very well, continuing this mission isn't solely my decision. My genin have to decide for themselves if they want to proceed, he said finally. I vote we go, Naruto said confidently. This is a chance to make an important ally in the Land of Waves. I vote to continue as well, Satsuki chimed in, a smirk on her face. It'll give me a chance to face more ninjas and push my limits. I vote we go too, Sakura said hesitantly. Even though it's out of my league, this will be a chance for me to get promoted to Chunin and gain experience. Looks like you got lucky, Tajuna, Kakashi said, narrowing his eyes at him, his tone carrying a slight edge. My team is understanding, but you better not forget that. Tajuna offered a relieved smile. He had successfully convinced them to continue. All right, let's head out, Kakashi said, turning toward the direction of the Land of Waves. March 5, 4:23 p.m. They were transported across the sea by a fisherman who smuggled them quietly into the Land of Waves. The journey took longer than expected, as they had to stay out of sight of the thugs patrolling the area to keep the borders under control. Now, they were halfway to Tajuna's house. Naruto's senses were alert as he detected a couple of chakra signatures. One felt as powerful as Kakashi's, while the other was 3 times stronger than Satsuki's. Kurama stirred awake at that moment, clearly intrigued by the situation. This was far more interesting than what had been happening before. Naruto threw a kunao into a bush. Substitution technique, Naruto thought, eyes narrowing. Geez. Why do you scare us like that? Sakura shouted, her irritation evident. Quiet. There's someone as strong as Kakashi here. Stay alert. Naruto said, his eyes locked on the direction where the larger chakra source lingered. Sakura opened her mouth to protest but fell silent when Naruto and Kakashi both ordered, get down. Naruto pulled Tajuna down with him, while Kakashi did the same with Sakura. Satsuki, sensing the danger, quickly ducked as well. The mysterious figure spoke from the shadows, his voice full of menace. Kakashi Hatake, known by many names, the copy ninja, the one who copied 1,000 jutsu. The mention of Kakashi's alias stunned Sakura, Tajuna, and Satsuki. They hadn't known their sensei was so highly regarded. Why don't you let the old bridge builder go and leave quietly, Kakashi? The man said as he leapt atop his giant sword. Naruto's voice broke through the tension. Zabuza Mamakai, huh? What brings you all the way to the Land of Waves? You're pretty far from your own country. The others glanced at Naruto, puzzled by how he knew the name. Zabuza's smirk spread wider. So you know me, do you? He sneered. Naruto nodded, his tone unwavering. Back in the day, the village hidden in the mist had a more fitting name, the Bloody Mist. You see, their genin exams were something else. You'd be paired with someone, train, eat, and live together, only to have to kill them to graduate. It was either kill or be killed. But one person changed all that, a kid our age who slaughtered every single one of the graduating class without a second thought. They called him the Demon of the Hidden Mist. He wasn't even part of the academy, but he became one of the most feared ninjas because of his ruthless skill. Zabuza's twisted grin grew. It felt so good. He cackled, a maniacal gleam in his eyes. The teen stiffened. Zabuza was infamous for being an S-ranked rogue ninja from the village hidden in the mist. After failing an assassination mission against the 4th Mizuki, he had fled and joined the 7 ninja swordsmen, wielding the legendary sword Kubikurei Basho. Sakura paled as the weight of the situation sank in. How could someone their age be so capable of such brutality? I apologize, Zabuza, but I gave my word to my client that we would protect him with everything we have, Kakashi responded. Is that so? You still have your genin with you, though. Aren't you concerned about what could happen to them? Zabuza mocked. Don't underestimate Kakashi-sensei. He's an S-ranked ninja, just like you. My sensei has copied over 1,000 jutsus and even trained under the 4th Hokage. You should think twice before underestimating us, Naruto said, his face serious. Kakashi raised an eyebrow, surprised by Naruto's knowledge of him. You don't need to worry about them, Kakashi reassured Zabuza as he activated his Sharingan, glaring fiercely at Zabuza. How does he have the Sharingan? Satsuki thought, both surprised and a bit angered. This is the first time I've seen two S-ranked ninjas about to clash. This is going to be interesting, Naruto thought to himself. You look somewhat familiar. You resemble the fourth Hokage. Zabuza commented, causing Naruto's eyes to widen, then narrow again. Zabuza was spot on. Naruto shared a strong resemblance to Minato, with hints of Kushina's personality. A heavy killing intent surrounded the group. Only Naruto and Kakashi remained unaffected. Sakura, Satsuki, and Tashina appeared visibly shaken. How did he figure out Naruto's connection to the Hokage with just a glance? Kakashi thought, glancing at Naruto in concern. Wait. He's smirking. Kakashi thought, slightly taken aback. Looks like Naruto has at least figured out who his father was. Now that Zabuza mentioned it, Naruto really does look like the fourth Hokage, Satsuki thought, but Sakura couldn't focus enough to consider what was said about Naruto's resemblance to Minato due to the overwhelming killing intent surrounding them. Kakashi released his own killing intent to counter Zabuza's, easing the pressure on his team. Seems like you've got a capable team, but that won't matter. I'll still kill the bridge builder. Zabuza yelled, leaping down and unsheathing his sword. He then formed a hand seal and called out, Hidden Mist Jutsu. Let's see what he's capable of with the mist, Naruto thought. Although Naruto had wind-based jutsus, he was curious to see what Zabuza could do when he was fully using his abilities. His killing intent is intense, but not nearly as strong as mine, Naruto mused. Of course, it's not as intense as yours. You probably share the same level of killing intent as your father, and I bet you can handle even more, considering you learned it from me. Kurama added, puffing out his chest with pride. Naruto let out a mental sigh at Kurama's words, but the fox had a point. Kurama's killing intent was on par with figures like Madara and Hashirama. Zabuza made water clones, and Kakashi-sensei copied it perfectly. The Sharingan is pretty impressive, Naruto thought. He focused more on Kakashi's eye. Is that the main Jikyo Sharingan? How is he managing the chakra drain from it? Naruto thought in surprise. The main Jikyo Sharingan, even when not active, consumed a lot of chakra due to its heightened perception. So even a transplanted eye boosts his chakra reserves, but constant use will eventually deplete them, Kurama explained. Naruto mentally acknowledged that explanation. It made sense that Kakashi's high chakra reserves were partly due to the transplanted Sharingan. This battle between two cage-level ninjas is insane. I can barely breathe with the amount of killing intent they're emitting. Satsuki thought, clutching her kunao tightly to her throat. Don't worry, Satsuki. I'll protect all of you with my life, Kakashi said, his voice calm but firm. Zabuza is planning to break our formation, Naruto thought, already preparing himself. He drew his katana and waited. As Zabuza lunged into the formation, Naruto sliced through it in a flash. Not a sound was made. Naruto just neutralized one of Zabuza's water clones. Even a clone has 1/10 of Zabuza's full strength, Kakashi thought, barely able to see through the mist. Sensei, I recommend you pour more chakra into your Sharingan to see through the mist better, one of Naruto's clones suggested. Kakashi tried it and was surprised to find his vision much clearer. His Sharingan's tomo began to spin rapidly. Naruto knew that using the main Jikyo Sharingan would drain Kakashi's chakra, so he refrained from advising him to activate it fully. Satsuki suddenly spun around, shouting, Sensei! Behind you! I'm sorry, Zabuza, but I made a promise to my client to protect him with everything we've got, Kakashi said firmly. Are you sure about that? You still have your students, don't you? Shouldn't you be worried about their safety? Zabuza taunted. Don't forget, Kakashi-sensei is an S-rank ninja, just like you. My teacher has mastered over 1,000 jutsu and was personally trained by the fourth Hokage. Having a teacher of his caliber is not something you should take lightly, Naruto said, his tone serious and resolute. Kakashi was surprised by Naruto's knowledge of his skills. You don't need to worry about them, Kakashi said, his Sharingan flaring to life, its gaze locking onto Zabuza. How does he have the Sharingan? Satsuki thought, a mix of surprise and frustration on her face. This is the first time I'm witnessing two top-tier ninjas battling to the death. This should be interesting, Naruto mused internally. You remind me of someone, the fourth Hokage, perhaps. Zabuza remarked, eyeing Kakashi with suspicion. Naruto's eyes widened slightly, then narrowed. Zabuza had struck a nerve. Naruto was a younger version of Minato, both physically and in personality. The atmosphere was thick with killing intent, heavy enough to choke anyone not accustomed to it. Only Naruto and Kakashi remained unfazed, while Sakura, Satsuki, and Tashina looked ready to lose their nerve. How did he figure out Naruto's connection to the fourth Hokage just like that? Kakashi thought, his mind racing. He looked at Naruto and was startled to see him smirking. It seems he already knows about his father, Kakashi thought, beginning to understand. Now that Zabuza mentioned it, Naruto does look a lot like the fourth Hokage, Satsuki thought. Sakura, however, was too overwhelmed by the killing intent to focus on such details. Kakashi, sensing the tension, released a burst of his own killing intent to counter Zabuza's, lifting some of the pressure on his team. So, you have someone competent in your group, but it won't change the outcome. I'll still kill the bridge builder, Zabuza declared, jumping into the air to ready his sword. He quickly formed a series of hand signs and shouted, "Hidden Mist Jutsu." Let's see what he can do with the mist, Naruto thought, intrigued. Although he could easily use wind-based jutsu, he wanted to see Zabuza's full potential in this environment. This level of killing intent is nothing compared to mine, Naruto mused, as Kurama's presence flared in his mind. Of course, your killing intent probably rivals your father's. You've learned from me, after all. Kurama boasted, his pride evident. Naruto's sweat dropped at Kurama's comments but had to admit there was some truth to them. The fox's killing intent was on par with the likes of Madara and Hashirama. Zabuza's making water clones now, and Kakashi is perfectly replicating it. The Sharingan is really something, Naruto thought, impressed. As Naruto focused on the fight, he noticed something strange. Wait. Is that the main Jikyo Sharingan? How is Kakashi able to manage the drain from it? Naruto thought with alarm. The main Jikyo Sharingan required an enormous amount of chakra, even when not activated, due to its enhanced perception and chakra reserves. So the transplanted eye gives him higher reserves, no wonder Kakashi can handle so much, Naruto thought, understanding how it worked. The transplanted Sharingan helps increase his chakra reserves, but its constant drain will eventually take its toll, Kurama added thoughtfully. Naruto nodded mentally in agreement, recognizing the truth in Kurama's words. This battle between these two high-level ninjas is insane. I can barely breathe with all this pressure. Satsuki thought, her kunai trembling as she gripped it. Don't worry, Satsuki. I'll protect you all with my life, Kakashi reassured, though his voice was strained. Zabuza lunged at Kakashi with his cubic Ibisho, swinging it horizontally. Kakashi anticipated the move, raising his kunai to intercept it. The force of the clash was immense, surprising Zabuza with Kakashi's strength. Both ninjas jumped away from each other, but Zabuza quickly sent a clone charging at Kakashi, forcing him into a defensive position. Zabuza pressed the attack, moving with incredible speed. Kakashi narrowly avoided a lethal strike, ducking just in time to avoid a kick that would have sent him crashing into a tree. As he dodged, he was forced to the ground, but Zabuza was relentless. Wind style. Great breakthrough. Naruto shouted, unleashing a gust of wind that cleared the mist, momentarily revealing the battlefield. That brat just destroyed my mist. Zabuza fumed internally. Kakashi, still in the water, struggled to break free. Zabuza's clone appeared and swiftly cast the water prison jutsu, trapping him inside. The real Zabuza switched places with the clone to maintain the jutsu, as it required a lot of chakra to sustain. The genin, horrified, saw Kakashi imprisoned and shouted in panic. Get out of here. Run with the client. Kakashi shouted from inside the water prison. Zabuza's clone can't go far from the original. Get moving. He ordered. Can't use my wind blades just yet. I need to save that for the final blow, Naruto thought, formulating a plan. I'll handle Zabuza. You guys protect Tashina, Naruto said, his voice calm and commanding. Sakura frowned, frustrated. Who died and made you the leader? She snapped. Naruto's eyes turned cold as he released a wave of killing intent. It was as intense as anything Kakashi or Zabuza had unleashed. Everyone around him froze, startled by the sheer pressure. If anyone has a better idea, feel free to speak up, Naruto said, his voice devoid of warmth. Sakura and Tashina's spines chilled, and they fell silent. Naruto released a clone to deal with Zabuza's water clone while he prepared to face the real threat. He dashed towards Zabuza, moving with incredible speed. Zabuza's eyes widened, recognizing the ferocity of Naruto's approach. With no time to react, Zabuza leaped away, evading the incoming assault. Well done, Naruto, Kakashi praised as he watched the battle unfold. Zabuza formed the necessary hand signs to perform the water dragon jutsu. Kakashi, anticipating the attack, quickly mimicked Zabuza's hand signs to perfection. Both shinobi completed all 44 hand seals, summoning two massive water dragons that collided with each other in a powerful clash. The battle between Zabuza and Kakashi intensified. Zabuza tried to strike with his sword, but Kakashi skillfully blocked the blow using his kunao. Kakashi's Sharingan gave him a clear understanding of Zabuza's next move, allowing him to anticipate his attacks. Zabuza quickly jumped back and began forming more hand signs, which Kakashi mirrored. Water style. Great waterfall jutsu. Both shinobi called out simultaneously. Zabuza was momentarily shocked as Kakashi executed the jutsu before him, catching him off guard. Wind style. Hyper jet. Naruto shouted, unleashing a stronger version of the jet stream jutsu. Naruto's wind-based jutsu amplified Kakashi's technique, giving them the upper hand. Zabuza's jutsu faltered and collapsed, while Kakashi and Naruto's combined attack sped toward Zabuza. Unable to dodge in time, Zabuza braced for the impact. The attack sent Zabuza crashing into several trees, and Kakashi's kunao pinned him down, leaving Zabuza severely injured and bleeding. Can you see the future? Zabuza asked weakly. Yes, and your future is death, Kakashi responded coldly. Before Zabuza could react, 3 senbon needles pierced his neck, ending his life. A masked figure, a hunter nin from the mist, appeared before them. You were right, Kakashi. His future was death. I've been tracking him for months to finish the job, the masked figure said, his voice calm. Naruto, observing the scene, suspected the masked ninja had a bloodline. No way they would let him join the mist forces, let alone the hunter nin division, Naruto thought. I didn't expect help from that brat when Kakashi-sensei was trapped in the water prison. Zabuza was vulnerable then, unable to defend himself against the senbon, Kurama commented in Naruto's mind. Kakashi checked Zabuza's pulse to confirm the kill. With no pulse, Kakashi let out a sigh of relief. I'll be leaving now, the masked ninja said, vanishing in a body flicker with Zabuza's body. Zabuza escaped. He's not dead, Naruto muttered, his expression hardening. Kakashi, weakened by the battle, fell unconscious from chakra exhaustion. Sensei! Sakura exclaimed, rushing to his side. Don't worry. He's just unconscious from chakra depletion. It happens when someone who isn't an Uchiha overuses the Sharingan, Naruto explained, creating a few clones to help carry Kakashi. March 6th, at Tashina's house. Good morning, Sensei, Naruto greeted, sitting next to Kakashi. Oh. Hello, Naruto. How long was I out? Kakashi asked, his voice groggy. About a day. You suffered from chakra exhaustion. You need to take it easy, Naruto replied. Sakura, Satsuki, and Tashina entered when they heard Kakashi's voice. Thank God you're awake, Sensei. Sakura exclaimed, visibly relieved. Now that Sensei is awake, I have something important to share with you all, Naruto said, drawing everyone's attention. What is it? Satsuki asked, curious. Kakashi, still processing, guessed what Naruto might say. Zabuza isn't dead. He escaped, Naruto announced, shocking everyone except Kakashi. Impossible. Kakashi-sensei confirmed Zabuza was dead. Sakura shouted, disbelief in her voice. Naruto snapped back sharply, you should listen before you shout. The senbon struck Zabuza at pressure points in the neck. These specific points can put a person into a death-like state. Zabuza has a highly skilled ninja under his command. After receiving his injuries, Zabuza fled at Jonin-level speeds, Naruto explained, his eyes serious. You're right, Naruto. Given the damage Zabuza sustained, he'll be back in 2 to 3 weeks. It'll take me about 2 weeks to recover from chakra exhaustion. But for you all to stand a chance in the next fight, I'll train you until you pass out, Kakashi said, his expression determined. To train us, you need to recover quickly. Rest up, and I'll send my clone to fetch breakfast for you, Naruto instructed. Kakashi smiled weakly, grateful for the care his student showed. March 6th. 9:23 a.m. I'll be teaching you all water walking today. I had originally planned to introduce this in the third round of the Chunin exams, thinking you'd need it, but given the upcoming battle we might face, I need to get you all prepared sooner, Kakashi explained. Considering how I've already mastered water walking from our battle against Zabuza, I'd like to ask for your help with something that needs your attention, Naruto said. Alright, I'll assist you with whatever you need after I've shown them the technique, Kakashi responded. Naruto acknowledged that. This is the next stage of tree walking. It's going to be harder because you'll need to adjust your chakra due to the flowing nature of water. This might take a few days to get the hang of, Kakashi explained. Everyone nodded and started working on the exercise. Kakashi and Naruto left to train in a separate area. So, what is it that you need help with? Kakashi asked. I want to learn the raise non. My father only wrote down the materials needed for it, but not the actual steps. Since you were his student, I think you're the best person to teach me, Naruto said. So, you know about your father, Kakashi commented. Yes. My grandfather allowed me access to my father's archives. I've learned the basics of the Flying Thunder God technique, but I'm not experienced enough to use it well. It's quite complex. I can only use it when I feel I'm strong enough, Naruto replied. That's good. As for me teaching you the raise non, that's not entirely true. Your godfather, Jiraiya, knows the technique better than I do, so I'll teach you the basic version, Kakashi said. That's more than enough, sensei, Naruto replied with a smile. Take out a balloon, I'll demonstrate the first exercise, Kakashi said. Naruto handed him an empty balloon. Kakashi focused, drawing water from the atmosphere and filling the balloon with it. Watch closely for the next step, Kakashi instructed. Naruto sharpened his focus, sensing what Kakashi was doing. Kakashi concentrated, and the water balloon popped. I need to spin my chakra in multiple directions. This jutsu requires next-level chakra control. Naruto thought, surprised. That's just a simplified version of a Bijudama. This will help you master it once you're ready, Kurama explained. Naruto got to work, creating over 50 clones to practice the exercise. 7:17 p.m. Damn, this exercise took much longer than expected, Naruto thought, feeling the strain. He dispelled the clones in groups to avoid a headache. It took me about 500 hours of training to finish this step, Naruto thought, frowning. This was supposed to be the easiest part. Your father took 3 years to perfect it, and Jiraiya needed over a year. So stop whining about completing the first exercise so quickly, Kurama scolded. Fine. Let's see what the others are up to, Naruto thought, heading toward the lake where his teammates were training. He blushed slightly upon seeing Satsuki. She was drenched, but her determination was clear. Looks like they've both trained to a usable level, but it's not practical in a real battle yet, Naruto thought. You can't expect them to master it in a day. It's surprising they reached this level at all, Kurama said. It's time for dinner, let's head back, Naruto called out. It's already this late? What time is it? Sakura asked, lying next to a tree. Both of them are running low on chakra, Naruto observed internally. It's around 7:20, Naruto replied, checking his watch. Naruto quickly jumped and caught Satsuki before she could fall into the deeper part of the lake. With her chakra and stamina drained, she wouldn't have been able to get herself out. Satsuki blushed slightly when Naruto caught her. You shouldn't push yourself like that. If you run out of chakra, you'll end up like Kakashi, and that's a waste of time, Naruto advised. Satsuki nodded, appreciating the advice. Naruto helped her to the shore and laid her down next to Sakura. Here, Naruto said, tossing them a scroll. Sakura and Satsuki exchanged confused glances. It has towels for you both to dry off. After all, we don't want anyone catching a cold on our first high-class mission, Naruto said, turning to give them some privacy. Yes, Lord Zabuza, Haku replied. How did you mess up that mission? A short man with a cane yelled. I could have taken down Kakashi on my own, but that blonde kid was a wild card. Next time, I'll make sure to capture the bridge builder, Zabuza said, his anger evident. You better. You missing nin are expensive. Gato retorted before quickly leaving, his haste due to the intense killing intent emanating from Zabuza's disciple. He was sure staying in the hideout any longer would cause him to lose control. We need to stay ready, Haku. That blonde kid might be stronger than you based on his fight. Show no mercy, Zabuza added seriously. Yes, Lord Zabuza, Haku responded. At Tashina's house. How's your trainin' going? Kakashi asked. He had been observing them from a distance, but wanted to hear it directly from his students. It's going great, sensei. Sakura replied cheerfully. I've mastered the first exercise, sensei, Naruto said with a proud smile. Satsuki only nodded in acknowledgement. That fast? Kakashi asked, clearly impressed by Naruto's speed. It took me a month to get that down, Kakashi said in surprise. What exercise is Naruto practicing, sensei? Sakura asked curiously. Before Kakashi could explain, Naruto answered, I'm learning my father's jutsu. It's a high-level A-rank ninjutsu that requires advanced chakra control. Only Kakashi-sensei and Jiraiya of the three Sunin know how to perform it. Kakashi sent a stern look in Naruto's direction. And who exactly is your father, Naruto? Sakura asked, pressing for more details. I'll tell you when I'm ready. For now, I'll keep it to myself. You'll find out when the time is right, especially during the upcoming Chunin exams if Kakashi-sensei signs us up, Naruto said cryptically. It's strange that Zabuza recognized my father's identity so quickly, but you two, who've known me for years, still don't know, Naruto added. That explains a lot about your strength. You're the son of someone even my father respected, Satsuki observed. Kakashi, who had finished his meal, stood up and said, time for my patrol. I'll be leaving now. Don't think you're strong just because of your father. There are plenty of ninjas who are strong regardless of their parentage. Sakamove Take, for example, was a candidate for Hokage despite being born to a Chunin and a civilian, Naruto reminded them. It also diminishes the value of one's hard work, Naruto added. Satsuki nodded, impressed by Naruto's humility. Despite his heritage, he didn't act arrogantly like she had done in the village. What happened to Sakamo? Sakura asked, genuinely curious. During a critical mission, he chose to retreat in order to save his comrades, but the failure of that mission led to countless deaths. The very people he saved turned against him. In the end, he chose to end his own life, Naruto explained with a frown. It may have been the wrong decision, but the hatred he received was far beyond what anyone in his position deserved, especially considering his status, Naruto continued. That's brutal. Sakura exclaimed. It was even harder for Kakashi-sensei. He had to grow up alone at just 5 years old. Some people hated Kakashi because of his father, while others didn't care. But Kakashi managed to support himself as he had already become a ninja by then, Naruto added. Sakura and Satsuki were shocked to hear that Kakashi had been a ninja at such a young age. Kakashi was a prodigy from an early age. Even without the Sharingan, he'd still be one of the strongest in the village. In fact, he was said to be better at using the Sharingan than some of the Uchiha clan, although that theory was never tested, Naruto remarked. Wait. Kakashi-sensei was supposed to be better at the Sharingan than my clan members. Satsuki thought, wide-eyed. They finished their dinner, preparing to head to their respective rooms. Hey, Naruto, Satsuki whispered. Naruto responded, looking at her. I want you to train me, Satsuki said. Naruto grinned and teased, well, if you go on a date with me, then I'll teach you. Sure, Satsuki replied, her cheeks reddening. Naruto froze, not expecting her to answer so casually. Ha 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 ha. Kurama laughed hysterically. Naruto's face turned bright red. When do you want to start training? Naruto managed to stammer. Tomorrow, 9 a.m., Satsuki answered confidently. Naruto nodded, still recovering from the surprise. When is the date? Satsuki asked, her voice playful. Tomorrow at 2 p.m., for lunch, Naruto said quickly, having no idea what he was supposed to do on a date. Good night, Satsuki said with a smile before running off to her room with Sakura. Damn. Naruto muttered, still in shock. Ha 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 ha. I never thought a Senju would ask out an Uchiha, let alone have the Uchiha accept it. Kurama laughed so hard he almost choked. Kakashi, who had witnessed the entire exchange, smiled beneath his mask. Looks like he's got the charm, just like you used to, sensei, Kakashi mused to himself. He doesn't seem to have the faintest idea about his date plans, though. Maybe I should step in and help him out, Kakashi thought, already planning how he could assist Naruto. Entering his room, Kakashi saw that he and Naruto shared accommodations while Sakura, Tsunami, and Satsuki were in a different room. Should I tell him about some of my abilities? It might make our mission a lot smoother. I'll leave it subtle so that he thinks I'm at least on a high jonin level when I hold back, Naruto asked his inner voice. Sure, but remember not to reveal things like Sage Mode or Wood Style. You could just say you learned the techniques by observing others, came Kurama's reply. With that, Kakashi addressed Naruto. So, how strong do you consider yourself? Kakashi asked, his voice laced with seriousness. Based on what I saw in your fight with Zabuza, I'd say I could handle either of you in a fight for a while, but I'd still probably lose due to lack of experience and some kijutsu. My speed is about half of yours, and my chakra reserves are about 40 times larger. I've got a couple of strong techniques under my belt. Overall, I'd say I'm at Jonin level, Naruto responded confidently. How did you get access to those higher level techniques? Kakashi inquired. I've been watching a lot of ninjas and trying to replicate what they do. From a young age, I realized the academy wasn't going to help me grow, so I trained myself. Mizuki taught me the wrong taijutsu style, and the other teachers never really helped me out. So, I didn't focus much on the academy, Naruto explained. Kakashi nodded in understanding, acknowledging Naruto's circumstances. After a brief pause, Kakashi spoke up again. I think you should take on the Fakumbu from the mist while I deal with Zabuza. Naruto gave a determined nod. Let's set some traps on the bridge beforehand. This could really give us an edge against Zabuza. The best way to counter the Sharingan is to block the line of sight. And Zabuza, being an expert in silent killing, will use the mist to his advantage, blocking vision completely. I'd suggest we set up wind-style jutsu seals to blow away the mist and expose him, Naruto said thoughtfully. That's a solid plan. I'll get the wind-style traps in place, Kakashi agreed. What if he brings backup? Naruto asked. It depends. If they're A-ranked, you'll take care of them, but I'll step in if it's someone stronger, Kakashi said. I get a massive power boost from the Nine-Tails chakra. I'd say that makes me strong enough to face a mid-S ranked ninja and have a good chance at winning, Naruto replied. Kakashi's uncovered eye widened in surprise. Kakashi then gave Naruto a serious look. My father sealed the Nine-Tails in me to protect both me and the village. I have to master this power. It will be a great asset in tough situations. But when it comes to fighting high-tier ninjas, there are counters. Kisame, for example, can absorb chakra with his sword, so if he shows up, I'll handle Zabuza while you deal with Kisame, Naruto continued. Kakashi nodded. That makes sense. But I'd advise you to be cautious with the Nine-Tails chakra. If you overuse it, you might lose control, and even I won't be able to stop you. Naruto was aware of his limits. He knew he could theoretically handle up to 5 tails without Sage Mode and maybe 7 with it. But the seal was still strong, and he could only access up to 3 tails of chakra at most for now. He and Kurama were working on breaking the seal, but it could take years before it was fully weakened. Naruto, what's your plan for tomorrow? Kakashi asked with a teasing tone. Huh? Naruto responded, clearly puzzled. Your date with Satsuki? Kakashi prodded with a smirk. Naruto's face turned beet red, realizing what Kakashi was referring to. I never thought she'd actually say yes. It was just a joke. Naruto blurted out. Do you like her at all? Kakashi asked casually. Yeah, a little, Naruto replied, his face still flushed. So, sensei, any tips for me? Naruto asked, somewhat nervously. Well, I'd say you should take her out to eat, but the town here isn't the best for a date. How about you prepare a picnic instead? Get some food ready, and enjoy the outdoors. As for the rest, I'm not really the expert on dates myself, Kakashi offered. Thanks, sensei. I think I have some ideas for it now. Naruto thanked Kakashi. But what should I teach her? I don't think she'd be able to keep up with the more advanced stuff I'm doing right now, Naruto asked. I'd suggest teaching her something a Chunin might learn, since she's about that level in strength. Pushing her further with challenging training will help her grow much stronger, Kakashi replied. Got it, sensei, Naruto said. By the way, what about her Sharingan, sensei? Naruto asked. If she has a good lightning affinity like me, I'd teach her the Chidori. It would fit her arsenal well, Kakashi answered. I can help her improve her Sharingan to its next stages through training. My clan's archives have quite a bit about it. The only ones with more knowledge would probably be the Uchiha clan themselves, Naruto said. How does the Uzumaki clan know so much about the Sharingan? Kakashi asked. The Uzumaki clan? No, I meant the Senju clan. You didn't know my dad was from the Senju line? Naruto asked, surprised. Wait. Your sensei was from the Senju clan? Kakashi exclaimed. Yeah, his grandfather was Tobirama Senju, the second Hokage. How did you think he had access to the Flying Thunder God Jutsu? Naruto explained. Kakashi's eyes widened. The fact that Minato's grandfather was the second Hokage was a huge revelation. It's getting late now, sensei, so I'll plan out what I'm teaching her and get some rest, Naruto said, getting ready for bed. He had to train for the second part of his Rasengan exercise the next day. March 7th. 9 a.m. Naruto had sent a few clones ahead to train for the second part of Rasengan training. Naruto and Satsuki entered a clearing together. So, what will you be teaching me? She asked. You have enough chakra for one shadow clone, so use your Sharingan and copy the jutsu I'll perform. Remember, make just one clone, Naruto said. Satsuki nodded, activating her Sharingan. Shadow clone jutsu. Naruto said, making the sign. Satsuki copied him and created one clone. Her eyes widened. I only have about a quarter of my chakra left. She thought, surprised. Wow. That jutsu drained a lot from me. Satsuki said, out of breath. It does. But it's a special jutsu that can speed up your training drastically. Anything the clone learns, you will learn when it's dispelled. But you need to have a high chakra reserve to use it effectively. You, being an Uchiha, can use it well enough. I'll be training you physically while your clone works on water walking, Naruto explained. HMHM, Satsuki responded. Your clone should follow my clone, and you'll train with me, Naruto said. Satsuki's clone followed Naruto's, leaving only the two of them. What should we start with? Satsuki asked. I'll be placing gravity seals on you. This one is designed to get stronger the more you use it, Naruto said. I'll need to draw it on your back, so. Naruto trailed off, blushing slightly. Satsuki looked confused for a moment, then realized what he meant. Fine, just make it quick, she said, blushing slightly, revealing her back. Naruto placed his hand on her back, drawing the seal. Done, he said. That's it? She asked. I'm a seal master. I can create high-level seals with just a touch. As far as I know, only my parents could do the same, Naruto explained. You're a seal master? She exclaimed in shock. Yes. Only Jiraiya's on my level when it comes to sealing arts. I've been using the shadow clone method for years, and I've had more chakra than the Hokage since I was 9, Naruto said, shocking her even further. Add some chakra to the seal, Naruto instructed, and she followed. Right now, you'll feel twice as heavy as before. That's level 1, Naruto explained. Yeah, it's hard to move, Satsuki said, struggling. What level are you at now? She asked. Me? I'm at level 13, Naruto replied. So you're experiencing 13 times the original gravity? Satsuki asked, surprised. Nope. It's about 300 times the original gravity. It grows by 2 times each level, like an exponential increase, Naruto explained, stunning Satsuki. How is that even possible? She asked in astonishment. Kakashi is still faster than me, and there are plenty of ninjas faster than him. Last I checked, my dad was at level 15, which is about 700 times the original gravity. The Raikage would probably be around that level if he used his lightning armor, but we'll never know because they don't use gravity seals there, Naruto said. How did you get so fast? That level of speed isn't possible for any normal person. Satsuki exclaimed. I have a bit of an advantage that others might not, Naruto said with a confident smile. Satsuki gave him a curious look. What do you mean by that? I'll explain it to you later, on our date, Naruto replied. Fine, she said, a small smirk forming on her lips. The two of them began running around the clearing, doing laps. Satsuki quickly began to feel exhausted, and Naruto had to heal her repeatedly using his healing palm technique, which could relax and ease the strain on her body. It proved to be helpful for Naruto's own training in medical jutsu as well, since he was able to practice it so often on her. 1:50 p.m. It's time for our date. Naruto exclaimed cheerfully. Wait, it's been 5 hours already. Satsuki asked, surprised. Almost. We need to hurry before all the food gets cold, Naruto said with a grin. Satsuki was impressed that Naruto had planned everything for their date so thoroughly. As they sat down to eat, Satsuki asked, so, what was this advantage you were talking about earlier? Well, you know about the Nine Tails attacking the village when I was born, right? Naruto began. Yeah. Satsuki replied, her curiosity piqued. My dad had no choice but to seal it inside me, since I was the only newborn at the time. People like me are called Jinchuriki. But someone leaked the fact that I had the Nine Tails sealed inside me, and it spread everywhere, Naruto said, his voice tinged with sadness. Satsuki's eyes widened in surprise, and she immediately hugged him, trying to comfort him. Looks like you ended up with a pretty unique situation, Kurama, the Nine Tails, commented from within Naruto. Yeah, I guess I did, Naruto replied with a slight chuckle. Satsuki pulled away when she heard Naruto continue, but there's more to it. The Nine Tails wasn't just attacking on its own. Satsuki's eyes widened in horror. Someone controlled the Nine Tails? My dad would have sealed the Nine Tails into the Shinigami if it wasn't for the fact that the Nine Tails was being manipulated. A masked Uchiha took me hostage when my mom was giving birth, and she was vulnerable at that moment. My dad came to save me, but left my mom behind with the Uchiha. That guy unsealed the Nine Tails, controlled it, and released it into the village, causing a lot of destruction, Naruto explained. What happened to your mom? Satsuki asked softly. When a Jinchuriki loses their tailed beast, they die instantly. But my mom was Nizumaki, so she managed to live a little longer. She used her last moments to restrain the Nine Tails, so my dad could seal it away, Naruto said with a somber expression. I was actually supposed to be adopted by your mom, Naruto continued, but the council wouldn't allow it. They said that adopting me would upset the balance of power among the clans, so no one could adopt me. Satsuki's eyes widened in disbelief. Really? Our parents were that close? Yes, Naruto said, nodding. Your mom was my godmother, and mine was yours. Really? Satsuki asked, her voice filled with hope. Yeah. They were rivals back then, on the same team, Naruto said with a smile. Satsuki had never felt this happy since the massacre of her clan. Tell me about your clans, she asked eagerly. Well, I belong to 3 clans, Naruto began. The first is the Namikaze clan, which was a minor clan until it was wiped out in the Second Ninja War. My second clan is the Uzumaki clan, who also perished in that war. It was a major battle 40,000 ninjas versus 3,000 Uzumaki. The Uzumaki clan was so strong that their leader was considered a kage, and their country was said to be as powerful as the 5 great hidden villages. And my third clan is the Senju. My great-grandfather was Tobirama Senju, the second Hokage. Satsuki was stunned. Being related to 3 Hokages was truly a remarkable thing. What about you? Naruto asked, curious. My grandfather was Kagami Uchiha, and my great-grandfather was Izuna Uchiha, Satsuki replied. Izuna? Really? Naruto asked, surprised. What's wrong with that? Satsuki asked, raising an eyebrow. My great-grandfather and your great-grandfather were bitter enemies during the warring clans era. My ancestor eventually defeated Izuna after years of fighting, Naruto explained. Satsuki's eyes widened slightly. Oh. The two of them spent the rest of the day chatting about their hobbies and interests, feeling a closer bond form between them as they shared their pasts.